Hello, beautiful peasants, and welcome in. I got all kinds of stuff planned to get done today. We'll see how much actually gets done, but I'm feeling optimistic. Part of that might be because I'm just excited to work on it, and other part might be the fact this is my second coffee. Hard to say. Alrighty. I realized we hit our funding goal for donations twice yesterday, and I forgot to reset it. So I'm gonna go do that now. Yeah, how are you guys doing? I see all of my mods are here today, which is a party. Yesterday we had none for like 5 minutes. I think Eloa was actually there the whole time. Eek, she's here. Scatter. But yes, hello, Eloa, Reaper, Insider, and then of course, Paint. Hey, Chicken's back. And Ray. Yeah, Satyr says, Mia, yes, it is a 2-monster day for sure. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. My neighbor's horses were not frothing at the mouth today, so that was good, as I predicted. But still, it was nice to get confirmation. I'm like, oh, they're looking normal again. Yay. So the first thing I'm going to do today is clean up this Fairy Godmother, both poses, and get that finished. I might keep the goth version. I don't think I'm going to. That was just a fun thing to demo yesterday, if you guys are feeling stuck. But yeah, I really want to keep working on this armor set. It's easily the best armor I've ever made, and it's because I'm really taking my time. Which, yes. When you get really good at streamlining your workflow and getting really fast, every now and then taking your time and, you know, making stuff the best that you can isn't as exciting, if that makes sense. But I know it's ultimately what I want to strive for, because, you know, I want to improve and grow and whatnot, so all good stuff. Hope you guys have been doing good, though. All right. Well, let's kind of talk through our opening stuff. So first and foremost, we have a new daily freebie, which is another pretty cool one. This is from my Cursed Forest. I can't remember, but she has like this, her breastplate also has like vines wrapped to it. I just had so much fun with this. And these really dramatic like makeup that actually sculpted onto her face. It paints really, really well. But it's one of the first times I ever did that. Look at this knee armor. Oh, this is so funny. Looks good when it's printed. But again, this is by making new armor. That's a good one though. And then of course, the Summer Art Fest is still going. We have our first submission from Paint, which was a stat block for It Who Guards Truth. Super dramatic, really cool. I thought the legendary actions were particularly neat. And layer actions. I always love that. Very, very cool. I haven't submitted anything quite yet. I always mean to every single week. I've just been, especially cooking. We'll see. I can get a little something done no matter what. But yes, if you haven't already, check that out. The prompts for this week are Masked, Multi-Headed, and Warden. I was thinking of last week's prompts. I was like, wait a minute, don't say the wrong prompt. All right, I'm going to be hanging out in the M3DM Livestream Hub. As you guys have noticed of late, it's a little easier to get my attention in our Discord than it is our chat. So, just, yeah. Yeah, so Ray says, Mia, have you done anything for the Art Fest yet? No, but it is only Wednesday, so it's only been a couple days. Hey, Rat Girl's here, enjoying those plates. Yeah, me too. And yeah, if you have any more questions about mentorship, let me know. Let me know. Then you can have it real, in person, on screen answer. Reaper says, I wrote yesterday and drew an old lady. That sounds like a nice day. Looks like Eloa is sleepy today. Eloa, are you just melting over there? I'm so sorry. It's been so hot. It's supposed to be a little bit cooler here today. It's been really, really hot. They're calling it a heat dome on the news. Yeah. Yeah, it's only supposed to be 93 today, which isn't as bad. And then next week, we're around 85, so that's not terrible. To adjust the fluff. There we go. There we go. Get that all pinned back. Slick back. Ray said, Ray had Ben & Jerry's for lunch. Very cooling. Also just literally ice cream. I love that. That's a good lunch. Beautiful. All right, well, I'm gonna just hop wow, hop right into getting this model finished and ready for 3D printing. What else? I think that's it. I haven't been doing warm-ups this week just because I'm excited to get these models done and not feeling very warm-uppy this week. Some weeks are like that. Alrighty. Let's get to it. And again, if you guys have any questions or whatnot or need my attention, just you gotta put at M3DM at this point. Otherwise, I literally don't see it. And I still might not see it, so just repeat your questions if you need to. All right, I got 2 poses here. Not too worried about the base. Leave that for now. I don't think I want to have the cupcakes in her hand on this action pose. I think this is just a really fun pose as is. I like this. The hands look great. All right. Looks like her arm is a little bit broken. Let's go ahead and fix that up. So whenever I'm cleaning up models, sometimes my brain just goes into like overdrive and I'm like, ooh, I see all the things I want to fix. And then I fix them like the most inefficient order possible. So I'm gonna try to zero in really like on one thing at a time. First thing we're gonna do is this arm, which is looking pretty good, but it's a little far from her body and that's why it's looking a little bit odd. Yeah, don't be broken. I'm making this look decently easy to fix up. Just don't feel discouraged if your arms get all goofy during posing as well. It's part of it. You're always going to do some resculpting after the fact, and that's a-okay. And it took me a long time to get comfortable with detailing arms and stuff, so just don't be frustrated. I have some students that are like just learning how to pose, and they're like, this is the worst thing ever. And I'm like, no, it's not. You just got to take your time and then learn anatomy somewhere along the way. That's all. Yeah, the difference in 10 degrees is ridiculous. I agree. Hey, Just Lingual is here. Welcome in. Wow, these arms are all kinds of interesting today, aren't they? Character creator was just like, nope. Destruction. That's okay. Look at that. So the way I'm fixing these up, that's really easy, is I'm just going through with my clay brush and adding any volume that got distorted. And I like to bulk up the ankles and wrist a little bit, just so they're not quite so fragile when 3D printed. All right, that looks much better. Okay, we weren't too far off. There we go, looking pretty good. Yeah, at the end of the day, let's be real, elbows look kind of ridiculous, no matter what you do. People that have watched my live streams for a while know that I am an elbow hater. Just like you can put so much work on them just for them to look dumb still. And I'm like, okay. There we go. Make sure that's nice and flat on the base. Her shoes ended up posing beautifully. Surprising. And then this secondary layer, this apron, if it fights me too much, I'll just delete it. But I think I should be able to just move it around with the 3D gizmo and my move brush and get a nice result. I am aware that her leg is just cutting through her dress. Don't worry about it. I'm going to fix it. There we go. Just kind of bend this up. Perfect. That was easy. So before, after. Sometimes your mesh is going to work really nicely like that. Other times it won't. You'll need to pivot. Some of these donuts I'm going to end up deleting. If they don't fit with the design or I'm having a hard time finding a place for them, I just get rid of them. Especially because they're decorations. They are not essential donuts. You know what I mean? Rat girls, I'm confused. Where for the chat? You can just stay in YouTube chat too. That's totally fine. But we post like references and stuff like that right here in the M3DM livestream hub. Thank you so much, Sater, for pinging her. That's the easiest. Hey, Foxy's here. Oh, there's me. Can confirm. Posing is frustrating as heck. I was thinking about you when I said that. Yeah. It's tricky. Sater says, posing isn't the worst thing ever. Proceeds to outsource her posing to Ricky. Excuse me, good sir. I pose all of my models for years. Ricky's only been posing for a few months. Okay. I did my time. I did my time. Hey, Steamworks is here. Hello, hello. Just Lingle said, yes, they aren't load-bearing donuts. That was the joke I was trying to make, and I could not figure out the words. I just said structural. Thank you, Just Lingle. That's the joke I wanted. Slater said, you should see the grin on my face. Too early to be causing this many problems. Yesterday you gave me a hard time and I kept muting Ray in retribution. Careful. This is such a successful character design, man. You know, Ricky and I were talking about art this morning, and I was like, because he poses my work now, because he's helpful and great, and not because I hate posing. I don't. And we're kind of just talking about how different my art looks this year than previous years. And it's not so much, it's like, oh yeah, just like objectively, like, yeah, textures look better, whatever. But really it's the design elements more than anything. I just think it's just a lot stronger than it's ever been, which feels great, you know? Improving, growth, whatnot. I keep saying that I don't have to keep improving. I can kind of just coast, kind of have a good time here. I'm thrilled with how the streams have done. A lot of you guys know this, but my goal is 10 viewers. So whenever I have 10 viewers, I think like I did it for the day, which we're at right now, which is amazing. And we've been hitting that every day super easily, which is just fantastic. That's usually where my brain would think, oh, we need to set new goals. I'm like, you know what? No, we're not going to do that. We're just gonna enjoy this, actually. Highly recommend not immediately replacing your goals with new goals when you reach them. You should just like relax and enjoy that for a bit. 10 out of 10 would do again. Be honest with me, guys. Are these donuts working or are they not working? I feel like they're not working a little bit. Like, I should just get rid of them. But they're so silly and fun. You know what? They probably just need to be a little bit smaller. Okay, yeah. Never mind. Donut crisis averted. They just needed to be slightly smaller. That's it. It's fine. Okay, yeah, we're fine. And then on this side, I'm just gonna move this donut over here. Nope, not like that. Literally the opposite. Thank you. Paint says, also, are the wings disconnected? Yep, that's why we're cleaning up the pose right now. Oh my god, did Ray get muted already? Ray says, I stand by that making muting was undeserved. I had to go through like my mod administrative privileges to read that comment. That is so funny. Oh, we love giving Ray a hard time. Oh goodness. Foxy says, no, we should be more distracting today. No work. Ray just said that you smell, Satyr. You left it. I guess it's true. Just Single says, Mia, how do you think a month of dedicated 2D art practice would affect your sculpting? Or at least, would you hope it would affect it? Yes, and it does. I put myself through a little 2D art boot camp last year before I streamed. And I bought one of the courses from Proko, Proko. And yeah, it improved my art immensely. Drawing is hard. Eloa is 5% smaller. That's crazy. I just did that. I love that. Man. Amazing. Same brain. Paint says, Mia, what is a character creature in any farm that you think is your favorite character design? Specifically from a farm? or like family, or okay, like a farm animal. It's my favorite. It's definitely not cats. Cats are really sensitive to sculpt. It's kind of annoying. So are horses. I don't know. Why am I so blown away by this? You know, I've liked every cow that I've sculpted has made my entire week better. Remember the happy cow that I sculpted recently, guys? I'm gonna go with cows. Final answer. Form. In any form. I'm gonna have to go with cow again. I like this. Rat Girl says, yeah, letting yourself actually succeed is good. Also, yes, smaller donuts is better donuts. For art, but not in real life. And yeah, any peasants that are wanting attention or just want to talk on both sides of my screen, you're welcome to chat in Discord just like this, especially if you have questions. Otherwise, I might not see them. You guys didn't talk so much. No, I think it's a great thing. I remember I was a couple months ago when I first started realizing that the chat was like its own sustainable little community. I was gonna say ecosystem, which I guess isn't wrong. You guys are peasant animals. Anyway. And no, it's so nice. I don't feel like I have to baby the chat, especially now that I have mods. Like you guys really just entertain yourselves and I can kind of look over and see what you guys are talking about and tune in if I want to. It's really fun. It's like my own personal podcast. All right, looking pretty good. And then her foot, again, I really don't want to be, oh wow, her knee's like destroyed. Let's just inflate all of that. All right, I'm gonna make her foot a little exaggerated here because it's the only thing touching the base. So she's gonna have like a giant foot. Inflate her hands just a little bit. That was a little too much. Sweet, I think this character is pretty much done, minus the floating wings. When something is actually floating and disconnected is the only time that I will allow you guys to be silly and be like, that's not 3D printable, because you're right. It's actually not. But that is the only time. All right, got these roughly into place. We're gonna go ahead and split them into the left and right. And I'm just using my 3D gizmo to post these. You bring up the 3D gizmo with W, if I haven't said that today yet. Don't worry, I'm gonna say it 100 more times. Cute. So I'm gonna get these into place that makes sense, like logically, like anatomically, which I usually kind of tuck them behind the shoulder blades or somewhere around there. And then I'm gonna look at this from the front and see how it affects the silhouette for design reasons. That was good. Yeah, from the front, I think it's a little bland. So now I'm gonna mess with it. I'm gonna use Move Topological because I don't wanna move like how it connects to her body, like anatomically. I just wanna like pose them for fun. Like here, like this is actually a really good teaching moments happening. Let's turn this to flat color. Wow, that flat color is very much so not flat and is definitely red wax. On today's episode of weird ZBrush glitches. There it is. Ooh, it's thinking about it. Why are you being like this? Okay. Anyway, that silhouette is kind of hard to read. There's things that are about it that are great, like her arm is standing out here, you can see what's going on. But the wings are definitely making it harder to read. So it's stuff like this, like don't have it just completely cover the hand. Just like move it up. And if you're thinking, but Mia, it's a 3D model. Yes, but your silhouette still shouldn't suck. Go ahead and put this here. There we go. I think that just looks so much more interesting. I like it. If you can get comfortable working with your 3D model as if it's like a 2D piece of art, it's gonna get better. It's gonna improve all of the things, I promise. Reaper is like, get back in the YouTube chat, Missy. The peasants cannot be contained. It's like herding cats. Eloa says, how does it feel to have students like Ella and now me as M3DM doing, or E3DM doing the business thing? Yeah, absolutely. It's super cool. It's my favorite thing. I have a lot of students that have started their business stuff now. So the first few times it happened, it was kind of nerve-wracking because I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope it goes well for them. But yeah, no, now I just feel confident. It just feels great that I can help you guys out and have you grow and flourish and do the things. All right. All donuts are structural. Beautiful. Can you make a shortcut for silhouette? Check. I mean, what you should do is just come up here to preferences and then just turn on thumbnail. That works. See? I'm a menace. Boxy says, it's funny how behind chat Mia is. No, I'm just working. Just ignoring you guys. I'm not behind. You're behind. Okay. Anyway. This is why I have mods to babysit you guys. There's Rackerl. That's not 3D printable. You saw your moment and you had it. Reaper says, actually, yeah, chat here. I have more power here. I think you guys have equal amount of a lot of power, my mods. It's true, yeah, my YouTube mods are the same people as my Discord mods, so beware. You cannot escape them. They are everywhere. All right, this is almost done. This is where I'm like, ooh, I want to fiddle with it and make it quote unquote perfect. But it's not possible. You know how long it would take to actually make sure that every single piece was perfect? It's not worth it, I promise. Also, this model is gorgeous. Oh, I just adore her. How cute. All right, I want to just see what it looks like if I flare the skirt out just a little bit. So I'm going to bring this little gizmo up to the top, click on the gear and taper. This is before, this is the after. I feel like definitely flare, right? It's deforming our structural donuts a little bit, so I'll just be careful with it. But I love the flare. I want more skirts and dresses that are twirly like this. But I also hate spending money on clothes, so what are you gonna do? Not gonna have twirly dresses for now. That's what we're gonna do. Man, this is cute as heck. Well, sweet. That model is done. We're gonna move these other ones up to the top and then merge these down. Amazing. All right, now put this one at the top and we're cleaning up the second pose. There she is. This one's a bit easier, I think. Just saying, says Mia, have you ever gotten fully behind on Patreon models? I don't even know what that would mean, honestly. So what's interesting about the way that I structure my Patreon is now I mentioned like, okay, I'll release like 10 to 20 models a month. But there was definitely a time where I was like, I will release something every month and that's it. My patrons knew that and they did not mind. Because what I'm really offering Patreon is the backlog. Does that make sense? That's a good question though. Rec Girl says, are you familiar with Brian Froud? He's my favorite fairy artist. And you didn't put pictures in the chat? That's the whole beauty of the Discord chat. Get those pictures. I want the watercolor fairy art, please. Man, these are great. You guys always talk about great things. Freaking love it. I'm always baffled, like if we have 10 viewers, we have 10 people in the chat talking. Like, it's an odd community here. You guys do not follow any like the normal standard rules. Just Lingo says, I didn't know you did that, but it makes sense. Yeah. I definitely like how I do things now, for sure. Which is a combination of like I offer the backlog, but I also don't feel pressure to just release a bunch of bottles all the time. And that's because when I was first like starting out, there was a lot of like really big creators and like pretty much like small studios that were also getting into 3D printing. This was like back in 2021. This was a long time ago. And I remember because I'd stalk their Patreons, I mean, admire for business reasons. And at least twice, 3 times a year, there'd be a big long post being like, hey guys, sorry, I'm really burned out. I can't make anything this month. And they'd pause the Patreon. And I'm definitely one of those kind of people, like when I see others in my space and more than one of them has like the similar kind of pattern of posting and feeling burned out, I know I'm not above that. There's no amount of like, oh, I'm tougher than them. I'm like, oh my God, what can I do to not be them? And to learn from that. So that's why I was very careful with how I release things. Yay! Apparently his wife also does help design Yoda. Incredible. Wow. Oh my gosh, I love the pinecone head gremlin thing. Cute. These are incredible. Yeah, these are lovely. Thank you guys for sharing. Again, we're all about more art. Share all the art stuff. Approved. Man, we're only indoors open and we've already covered a lot of different topics. I love it. Like mostly centered around art and stuff, but get into some business, some life. We are existential dread free today in the chat so far, but we're pretty early. I'm gonna do the same thing where I taper this skirt out just a bit, because again, isn't that more fun? Okay, that's a little insane on this one. We'll just go a little bit. It's already pretty fluffed out. Ooh, 100% recommend looking up John Blanche. That's awesome. I really love this. I almost love the character in the back even more than the red one in the forefront. Wow. I'm going with slightly smaller donuts on this version as well because we learned from the first time. Let's get these roughly into position, and the ones that are under the apron I'm just not too worried about. Rat Curl says, I love how Blanche and Froud came up together. Totally different vibes, very similar processes. Yeah, it looks like this like slow like layering up of color and watercolor-esque, yeah. I can definitely see how watching my streams and being part of this community really gets people back into art and like creating, because it is just like a little well of inspiration. That's how it feels for me anyway, definitely. Like in some ways, because I stream all of my work, I definitely work a little bit slower because I'm talking my process and answering questions and participating in peasant shenanigans. But honestly, I think it makes my workflow in the long run a lot more sustainable. Keeps things fresh, you know, it's not just me in my office sculpting all by my lonesome. And I'm mostly saying that like super dry and funny because like I love being by myself. But this is nice too. I guess I enjoy hanging out with my peasants. I guess. And Rackrell mentioned, I'm pretty sure Blanche is colorblind as well. It works with a very restricted palette. Yeah, we have a few colorblind people in this community too. Eloa says, I have his Good Fairy, Bad Fairy books. Oh, how cool. I have a book like that too, but it's for pinups. Man, this model is so freaking cute. I just can't get over how stinking cute she is. Ooh, Paint has more art recommendations. Let's see. I also highly recommend looking up Mike Francina, main concept artist for Trench Crusade and work with Diablo and Magic the Gathering and some other games. Oh, cool. Even like a snapshot here. It's a pretty diverse body of work too. All right, looking pretty darn good. I'm gonna rotate this left sleeve, or I guess her right, just a little bit more. There we go. Looking a little bit odd otherwise. Gorgeous. All right, now I'm doing a really quick 3D printing check, which is like anything that doesn't have any business hanging off of the model, just tucking that back. Eloa, shut up. Too early for that. Well, sweet. Getting these models cleaned up first thing in the stream is kind of a nice little motivator for me because, again, I love working on this armor piece, but normally I would have finished multiple models this week. But I know it's worth it because, again, one, it's a really cool armor set, and two, I'm technically working on, I'm gonna get 2 characters out of it, so it's a huge win-win. Man, to be a little fairy godmother with a lot of treats and like donuts on your dress, like I love it. Awesome. And then here's something that I've been meaning to do, but I keep forgetting whenever I'm post-processing. Recently my meshes have gotten especially clean and optimized, so I can just kind of chaotically optimize, like remesh the entire model at once. So I've decided to kick that up one more level, and I'm actually going to do both poses at the exact same time. So let me get this merged down, just kind of making sure her arms are substantial enough. Very good. Cute. And then the tails of these wings are kind of on the fragile side, so kind of just chunk those up. Hey, Monkey's here. Hello, hello. Oh, sweet. Monkey put in another thing in the thing, which means Summer Art Fest, I bet, and it's a map. There we go. The Tomb of Many Masked Faces. Oh, cool. Fun. That's literally what it's called, too. Sick. I'm most interested in this room. It looks especially dramatic. Is that literally just space? Void room? Awesome. That's a gorgeous map, Monkey. Make sure you ping Eloa. Otherwise, it doesn't count. All right, so we're gonna get all this merged down. And this is my new chaotic favorite thing I'm gonna start doing, which is I have these 2 models. going to merge them down together, so it's a collective 5 million points. And we're going to remesh them at the same time, because why not? Foxy says, Reaper and Satyr were bullying me. They called me a gremlin. Were you being a gremlin? Well, have you tried not eating after midnight? Reaper says, you're lucky you have to get ready for work. All right, that remeshed. No problem. Love to see it. Let's take all this weird artifact nonsense, polygroup it together, delete, close holes, and remesh one more time. And then the doors open has reset. Bear with me. And then we're going to move on to Tavern Keeper's Craft, which, as you guys know, is even more awesome armor goodness today. Got some kind of weird mesh thing happening. Oh, I see it. What are you doing over there? This doesn't grab the side of that. It's sad. All right, I know how to fix this. There we go. I'm gonna go back to both of them being here, and then I need to check this like frill nonsense. There we go. A couple things here. So first thing I'm gonna do is look at this skirt here. It's kind of some weird mesh stuff happening. See, there's a single-sided plane hiding in there. I don't know where it came from, but I know where it's gonna go. And it's going to go away. There it is. Just going to mask it, delete it, amazing, and close holes. Sometimes it's just that simple. Yep, easy. Oops, sorry. Oh, I haven't had a question of the day in a hot second. Yeah, it's my bad. I know I'm supposed to do that. We're taking a break. Go do the Summer Art Fest. How's that? Also, it was never really question of the day. It was always more like question of the every 3 days. Let's be real. Until Eloa took over for a bit, and then it actually was question of the day for a while. You know, Ray, it's funny that you bring that up. Perhaps you should ask a question today. You can be question of the day, man. Ooh, I would love to know what you would ask. Like, genuinely. Sounds like a trap, but like I'm being genuine. I don't want to do with it what I do with this frill right now. It's like fighting me. Eloa says, yeah, I haven't had a Ray art update in a bit. Amazing. Ray just closes the stream. It's like, I don't need this. Ray said, hey, you got a Summer Art Fest submission. Well, now it's week 2, so sorry. We must submit again to re-earn goodwill. All right, this skirt is gonna fight me, so I'm gonna bring out the big guns. And the big guns are just Dynamesh. There, see? Look, it's like destroying itself. Stop it. I will win. I always win. There we go. All right, so if you blew up, I'm curious if the other one also tried to blow up. I don't think so. The skirt was much more well behaved. Yeah, look at that. Look at this behavior. Very good. Okay, try again. Check mesh issues. Yeah, not bad. Ray says, Mia, I shall in fact pass on question of the day. That's what I thought. Hi, RV. There's Ricky. Ketchup or mustard? If I had to pick, mustard. Oh, Reaper also has a question. Circle or square? I'd want to say circle, but if it's a personality knock, then I'm definitely more of a square. Sater says, leave me out of your tomato syrup worship. There goes the chat. We have derailed. It's okay. Yep, there's already Tavern quotes. I kind of figured. Yep. We have a couple, actually. Yeah, I love that they aren't load-bearing donuts. I thought that was really funny. Anyway, back to art. Doesn't feel like a Wednesday. Simultaneously feels like Monday and Friday at the same time, which I guess that is the most Wednesday-y feeling that you can get. I'll have to reflect on that. Alright. What's happening? Got some really interesting nonsense happening here. No matter. I'm just going to delete it and take care of it. Sweet. Hey, Toto's here. Hello, hello. Or as you put it, hello. I think it's cool how many like regular peasants we have that like come hang out every day. Or at least just stop in for just a bit to say hi. It's really cool. What did Foxy say yesterday? Pleasant peasants. Yeah, I love that. RV says 3D printer is ordered. So excited to start printing as soon as it arrives. I'm sure it'll be a learning curve, but it'll be fun. Yeah, you have a fantastic attitude going into it. It is a lot of work, but like in the best way. All good things are a lot of work. It's just part of it. Nope, do not close. That was never an option. Thank you. Eloa says, new question of the day in Discord. Really important. I'm sure it's not. Yep. Would you rather be a circle or a square for 24 hours? A circle, so I could roll around. I feel like I wouldn't be able to move if I was a square. This is officially the worst question of the day and my favorite at the same time. It's amazing. Peasants, go vote on our Discord. Question of the day at the bottom of miscellaneous. Circle or square? It's very important. Only real peasants vote. Man, there's something happening around this area. Oh, no, we are not dynamic subdiv. Stop that. Something right here that's making it very angry. Oh, it's these pouches. Why did they blow up? Look at that. Kind of just blew up, didn't it? I don't know why. There's no reason for you to be that angry. Wow, that is some of the ugliest apology I've seen in a while. I don't care. I will obliterate you. There. Ew. Why are you acting like that? And it's funny because these pouches, they're identical. So the fact that just one of them is blowing up is interesting. I think it'll be faster to just remesh it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. RB will be a square. No one can roll me. Otherwise, we'll be tossed around here and there. But it's hip to be square. Oh, am I still on the wrong side of this? Man. Yeah, I'm very entertained at these little pouches blowing up. That's okay. I have a solution for that too. And again, I'm glad that I just went ahead and like mesh these models at the same time because they're literally the same pieces and doesn't take me any more work. Oops, nope, didn't want to Dynamesh that. Not the whole model. Yikes. There we go. Undo. Man, ZBrush is being so well behaved right now, like genuinely. I've made like multiple mistakes and it just like handles it. I'm like, oh, thanks ZBrush. I am curious why these are blowing up when they get remeshed, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to Dynamesh them and they're going to be happy. Oh, I see. There's a seam right here. Ah, that's why. And that's why it's shattering. That's kind of a big thing to throw such a big fit over, or a small thing to throw such a big fit over, but I mean, that's fine. I speak problem. Whatever. The way that this, when I was like a new artist, would like absolutely derail my entire day because I wouldn't be able to figure it out. Save. Oh, I don't need to save. It's too early to have to save. I got my autosaves going. We're good. Sweet. Nice and clean. Awesome. I bet it's going to remesh even faster this time now too. So now I checked mesh integrity. There's literally 0 mesh errors. So every single little problem we had was just in the pouches. Okay. I've used these exact same pouches on like dozens of characters, but today they were like, no, that's fine. Eloa has some hot takes and question of the day. There's a battlefield in there. Are they talking in here? Oh my goodness. Yeah. This is intense. I'm just gonna leave this up. If you guys want to read that nonsense, you're more than welcome to. I remeshed by union and deleted my entire mesh. Literally went from 6 million points to 0. Really? And it crashed. I have my autosave. But like, I just said something nice about ZBrush. That was neat. Okay. I think a cube is acceptable for Square Gang. That can be acceptable. See? I think this is where the angry pouches were. Yeah, Eloa, these are the kind of question of the day we need. The other questions of the day you had, it was way too reasonable, way too high quality of discourse. This is what we need. Here we go. And we're back. I mean, I will never recover. But it does make me giggle that, like, the thing that was like an abomination and full of mesh errors, remesh no problem, and then I fixed it. And ZBrush was like, that's disgusting. I absolutely will not handle that. I'm like, okay. I'm going to come back to the normal live stream hub. You guys are welcome to go be hooligans in the question of the day. Oh look, the topology was round. Here we go. Just Single says, Mia, what is your hottest take? That's no gods, no kings? I'm thinking, and I'm also editing while being not editing. You know what I mean? And just, Eloa, uh-oh. It's like, please, Mia, God. No, I'm trying. PR team, brace for impact. No, I'm being really good. I'm trying to be really good. They're not good. They're not great, Eloa. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Do I just say pass? I feel like I'm in a play. I'm like, line. What is a trick to keep the wings from being flimsy and breakable? They're gonna break no matter what if you're clumsy. Move and back face mask. That's the trick. And don't touch them. That's the other trick. Pick up your models from the base, not from the wings. The amount of people that have been like, the wings break, and they just like grab it like tweezers. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Oh, Ray, that's just the beginning. You guys know way too much about me. Oh my god. Yeah. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But just single my hottest take, it's pretty much along the lines of people have got to stop asking me how to make money with art like it's not the hardest thing you could possibly do. And if you're asking me, you're probably not going to make it. Is that horrible? That is my diluted take. I tried to make that better. Pass is a safe option. Too late. I kept it away from like, it's no gods, no kings. It just has to do with art and like, Hello says, yes, how do money art, Miss Art Woman? Very important question. No, it's the people that expect there to be an answer that I'm like, someone is gonna scam you. Oh my god. If there was an answer about how to make art with your money that was actually straightforward and not custom tailored to every single person, that person would be a millionaire. Rat Girl says, tepid take, bring up the spice. No, I'm trying to be good. Tepid. You guys are encouraging me to be worse than being my best self. Okay? Okay. Ray says, I really want to hear the actual hot take. Eloa says, the M3DM gets banned clip would be great content, though. We won't judge you if you increase the spice from flour to paprika. Oh my lord. Look at this. Look at you guys, like, goading me into saying something stupid. No. I'm smarter than this. Satyr said, work harder to become a mod. It's in our secret channel. This is true. No, my hottest take is reserved for my mods only. Sorry. I feel like the hair is also causing a problem somewhere, even though it's not showing it to me. Paint says me, and to be honest, very ice cream vanilla take. I literally said people are asking me how to make art as a living that they won't make it. That's pretty terrible. Like, that's my general blanket statement. I'm not saying it's impossible, obviously. And there are people that I super care about, like Eloa, who's like, I think doing a lot of stuff right and has very reasonable expectations too. I'm not falling for this. I'm not going to say something dumb. I mean, dumb is fine, but I'm not going to say something hot. Nope. Line. How about you guys put your hot takes in the chat and we can let the mods handle it. There we go. Eloa says, you guys don't want to be in the mod chat. Mia's unleashed and says criminal things. I definitely swear a lot more. That's for sure. Just Single says, Mia, did I already ask the if you had to use a crime to represent your personality, which one would you pick question? If so, which natural disaster would best represent your personality? You haven't asked me either one of these, so I'm going to go with the latest one. Which natural disaster best represents my personality? I just don't think I'm a natural disaster. That's kind of poetic, though. Gut reaction says monsoon, and I will not elaborate. RV says, Mia, what are we talking about? And I will give mine. That's the thing, they didn't give me a prompt. They were just like, hot take, be spicy. Ratgirl says, my hot take is that square was the correct choice. Ray says, Mia, surely if someone that sells a business advice part of a mentorship shouldn't say that they're going to get nowhere. No, I tell students that too. That's part of what you pay for sometimes. I'm like, at the current thing that you're doing, you're never going to make it. I've definitely told students this. In those words, fuck no. But I've definitely said that. Toda says, I get nervous about trying to enter the market with my models. I DM'd my personal work, what I really want to do and make. It's very grotesque, body horror, and dark, mature themes. Girl, are you kidding? People love that. Like, no, you're good. There are whole Kickstarter projects just around grimdark models. Just Single says, Mia, I asked the crime natural disaster question. I found people are surprisingly honest and thoughtful about it. Yeah, because it's just like, I don't know. It's so much cooler than just like, what fruit would you be, you know? Because it's like acknowledging what kind of problems you are. It requires a level of self-awareness, you know? I'm really thinking. You know what? I pivot from monsoon. It'd be volcanic eruption. 100%. Spicy. Hot. Mad. I know that anger is supposed to be like a secondary emotion or whatever, but I swear to God with me, it's a primary emotion. Might tie into the fact that my biggest flaw is pride, but anyway. Toda says, wait, really? Heck yeah. Isn't that like the... Okay, one second. One of the biggest games I get asked to make stuff for is Gloomhaven, which is gloomy, obviously, and spooky. Not like crazy spooky. But it's more on the darker side. And then the other one that people freaking love right now is Trench Crusade. This is definitely on the grittier side. Like, I just typed in Trench Crusade. And yes, like some of the first things that come up. It's more, I mean, it's not, I'm saying it's like a straight up horror, but it's definitely on the spookier side for sure. Yeah. Like, absolutely. And this is like huge right now. Bring on the spook. Especially what I call the Elden Ring fallout. Like, if you watched not E3, that was pretty much E3 that happened a couple weeks ago, like, you can see the Elden Ring and Dark Souls general influence on all games that are coming out right now. Like, Game Freak is actually working on a game right now that looks kind of like a cross of, like, Wild Hearts and Dark Souls-esque. It's really cool. Yeah, a lot of love for Grimdark. Alright, what the heck was I doing? It's been an hour. Sometimes mods are a little hard to process. That's okay. Ray said, I'd say thunderstorm for me. That's cool. Okay. Oh yeah, Darkest Dungeon. Dude, I love Darkest Dungeon. And hot take, I like both Darkest Dungeons. A lot of people didn't like the second one. I love Darkest Dungeon too, because I could actually like get somewhere. I had a very hard time with the first one. And Toda says, I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm feverishly typing and researching. No, that's good. That's good. Oh, Keith is here. Hey, welcome back. Ooh, is this a finished Nyana Sweets? Yes. Got our 2 poses, and she is a cutie. All right, let's get this decimated. Oh, good. Paint. Yeah, Mia, same. I love Darkest Dungeon 1 and 2. Heck yeah. I love to see it. And Rat Girl saying to Toda, no worry, you just got swamped with a million suggestions. Oh, I love it. Rat Girl, I'm glad that you showed up again recently because Toda has been a lot more active, and I know you guys would get along. Like, in my head, because I'm going to have, like, character profiles for all of y'all, it's just what helps me remember you guys. Even if I exaggerate a little bit in my head, it makes it more memorable. And in my head, you guys are, like, the same person. You're very much so the same awesome bucket. So, go be friends, please. Why is she missing a leg? She's not. There it is. Whee! Eloa, yeah. Be friends. It's true. I know, you guys just like the same things. It's very cool. Alright, this is kind of not wanting to do all the things that I want it to do, and that's totally okay. I'm going to go ahead and proportion these and put them in a mesh mixer and then see if there's any actual problems. Or if ZBrush is just acting like there's problems and there's actually not. So right now I am scaling these to be 28 millimeters. I'm turning off perspective, lining up the bases. I turn on transparency just so they line up nicely. There we go. Gorgeous. Bray says, I don't switch between subtools too often, so I didn't realize I could just alt-click to switch. It's true. Toda said, well, maybe I was, but now I'm not gonna. Okay, don't be friends. Have no friends. Leave. Catch cracking me up. All right, now I want it to line up nicely with the scaling of my other model here. I may use this one because she's not balancing on one foot, and it just makes my life a little easier to see what the heck's going on with scale. There we go. That looks about right. Excellent. I'm gonna go ahead and scoot over this plate of cookies. Okay, good. For a second there, I thought each of the cookies became their own subtool, and I was like, or polygroup. We're good. Just Single says, Mia, if you could throw hands with any one fictional character, who would it be? That's a really good question. To be fair, stories where there's a character that I like really, really hate, I usually like fall out of that series or like stop watching or reading it. I feel like the best villains are the ones that are actually morally gray and interesting, not just being dumb. You know what I mean? Let me think. Just Single, you're asking a lot of really good soul-searching questions, and I'm like, oh my goodness, have I ever read or liked anything in my life? I'm like, yes, you have. Think of things that you've read. I'm like, I can't remember anything I've ever read, even though I just finished a book like 2 days ago. What book was it? I don't know. I would not do well in interviews. I'm going to sit on that one. It's too good of a question for me to give a terrible answer. And apparently I've never read a book in my entire life. The way I just completely blanked on anything I've ever read. I have read 13 books this year. Like, how am I not remembering anything? I think it's not 13. I write down how many books that I read because I think it's fun. I think I've read 8. Let me look. Oh, nope, I've read 13 books this year. What books? Okay. Anyway, I'll have to look at that later. Oh, good. Other people answered. Thank God. Paint says, Mia, you would like Megamind. Hell yeah, I do. I love that movie. Okay, I was wanting Toda and Rat Girl to become best friends, but it looks like Eloa's gonna swoop. Which, you know what? You guys are in similar buckets in my head, too. Yeah, that also works. That's agreeable. Eloa's so happy right now. Keith says Fred Rogers. Might be awkward, but at least I get to meet him. That's really wholesome. Toda says, I'm genuinely surprised. I knew people like horror, just figured since mine is so deep-rooted in trauma stories and in grim, that there wouldn't be a market or it'd be tough because of graphic nature. No, not at all. Like, this is a little, like, light. Again, it wasn't, like, proper horror or anything, but I did an entire Kickstarter project that was 7 Deadly Sins. And again, it's not, like, body horror or anything, but people love stuff like this. Here we go. But no, I had a ton of fun with this. This project did fantastic. But yeah. Literally a model that's been stabbed in the back, hence Wrath. All of these have a lot of layers of just cool stuff. Man with a giant stomach, big mouth, classic. A little literal on the gluttony. Lust was a lot of fun. I spent so much time sculpting this tiny little crease on her hip. Sloth was a lot of fun. Creepy, awful, sad. That's how I feel when I am tired, y'all. Like, literally. These all came from a familiar place. Pride, ironically, looked like an angel when I first sculpted her. Just absolutely gorgeous. And I was like, that's revealing. So I had to go through and make sure I darkened her up considerably. Greed, just a fancy boy. And again, this isn't like super grim, dark, or horror, but like it's on the darker side, darker palette. People loved it. It's a good crease, isn't it? Yeah. Toda says, The Sins, a classic. Wait a minute, I've seen these. Did you post this on Instagram? Yeah, probably at some point. That project's a few years old. But yeah, I sculpted all this. I'm trying to think of some of the spookiest models I've made. Faceless is a pretty good one. He's like ripping a lantern out of his chest. This model's gonna be really fragile if I don't move it over to touch this grass or something. There we go. Just even one little support touching goes a long way. Natural supports for the win. Paint says, Mia, gotta get the hips right for lust, to be fair. This is very true. And at first, I'm like, is sculpting a literal naked woman too on the nose for lust? And I'm like, I guess it depends on the way that I sculpt her. And yeah, it turned out awesome. Yeah, Loa, right, talking about their first commission with Micah. Micah's deployed me to work on his grim dark creations. It's been such a joy. I adore dark fantasy. Yeah, y'all just hit the jackpot, you two meeting each other. It was very much so meant to be. I'm very happy about it. Okay, this strand of hair is being a bit of a disaster. Please go away. There we go. Did this model do the same thing? No. This one was good about it. Her dimples are so cute. All right, looking pretty good. It's probably a higher poly than it needs to be. Let's bring that down to 6,000 points. Nah, that's good. This is fine. She is so cute. Oh man. All right. These took a little longer than usual. It happens. I'm also forgetting that I also cleaned up the pose and post-processed, so that's pretty good. Reaper says, I want to find a dang drawing cartoon server that I can vibe with. Everyone else doesn't match the vibe or is locked behind a Patreon. I feel ya. That's low-key why I created this. I didn't find one, so I made it. You don't like hanging out with us? I did think the same thing, and then I was like, that's a very silly take, Mia. Reaper still loves you. Just not as much as these other 2D artists that she wants to find. It's okay. Hey, Mad Crafter said, what are the ways one could create grass for a base? I have them here. It's just planes that are bent a little bit, and then you group them up. Do you have a poly count budget for your models to 3D print? I usually have my character somewhere around 200,000 polys or points, but you can go way higher than that. You can print over 1 million if you want to. I don't, just because it bogs down my slicer. I go as low as possible without losing any resolution. Does that make sense? That's a great question, though. You guys know this. If you ever asked me a question and you either don't understand the answer or whatever it may be, just ask again. I am not against re-answering questions. Because as I always say, communication is hard. Words are hard. Reaper said, no, I do, but you guys aren't 2D enthusiasts that I can exploit for money, like Eloa is doing. I getcha. I mean, there's a lot of people on my server that definitely commission 2D artists as well. But I hear what you're saying. All right, it's casual, decorative base, and these are good to go. Sweet. Where did I put these? I exported them somewhere, and now I cannot find them. Are they on my desktop? Yes, okay, cool, I found them. There we go. Hey, finishing models. Love to see it. Right now I'm just updating all of my spreadsheets and what is in what progress and whatnot. I might as well show it to you guys. There's no reason not to. It is by no means secret. See, that was it. Matt Crafter says, did you get your start by running Kickstarters? I tried to run one and it failed. Any tips there? I've run almost 30. They've all succeeded. It's not where I got my start, but it definitely helped. I did a combo, Patreon and Kickstarter. That question is just so broad. I literally cannot answer at all. Does that make sense? Yeah. I just can't. If you really want like my detailed feedback tailored to you specifically, join my mentorship program for a month. We can do a consult and I can really do a deep dive and help you with that. I don't know. I don't even feel comfortable giving general tips and advice unless I know like the full story and what you're even trying to sell. Because I don't even know if you're trying to sell 3D minis or not. 3D minis. Like 3D models for miniatures or what it is. Does that make sense? Don't trust anybody that's going to give you like blanket advice and actually act like that's helpful. It's just not. Like art and business have so many variables and like it's cool. It is fun when you have like time and not a lot of pressure, you know? If you're banking on it to pay your bills, maybe that's not as fun. That can be stressful. But it's a really cool, complicated problem, and I'm not going to do it a disservice by even trying to answer that question. Matt Crafter said, you told me to ask broader questions. When did I say that? Eloa says, Mia has helped me on a small scale to people on larger scales with full businesses going on. Yep, I actually have a student that's launching a Kickstarter like in 2 days. Do you think a 3D printer simulator video game would go over well? It could. I mean, I really just need to know way more. Emperor said, hola, fellow students. How do we do? Pretty good. A 3D printer simulator video game, like where you build them. There's a game on, not just on Steam, but it started on Steam. Anyway, where you build PCs. It's kind of cool. But like, I just don't understand like what the game would entail or what you would do. Like, is it building 3D printers? That's kind of cool. Yum. All right, second coffee, done. Foxy says to Seder, I think it's more based on not wanting to shamelessly exploit the M3DM community for commissions. Nah, if I got buyers and sellers in my community, that's fantastic. Artists and people that want art, that's great. That's not exploiting. That's beautiful. Yeah, Seder mentioned Reaper is afraid to shill for herself, which is funny because she gives Eloa a hard time about the same thing. Crazy. All right, let's go ahead and get that Centaur Artificer up. Which currently is not a Centaur. I'm going to make a full knight character out of this too. Oh good, Empress said I'm doing pretty good on this side of the world. Rejuvenated and energized to open ZBrush today. Love to hear it. Eloa, laughing at Reaper. Ha, Reaper. It's true. Keith said, no, you simulate printing models, processing them, etc. Maybe it would have a model that you sell your models to gamify it a bit. Have to unlock better printers, resin tools. That'd be really cute. Having like a 3D print farm. Like that's kind of what the game is based around. Yeah, no, that's cool. People play that. Yeah, Rat Girl, that's a good point. That is a good point. This is hysterical. Eloa is absolutely reveling in this. Cool, cool. Reaper, I don't know what you're smacking me for not shilling your art in my community, even though you give Eloa a hard time for not doing that. All right. I didn't realize just how awesome this is turning out. Wow. Who made this? It was me. You know how you create something, you look at it the next day, and you're like, wow, I'm so proud of that art, and now I hate it? I'm having the exact opposite of that right now, which is where I thought it was fine. Yesterday, I knew it was looking pretty good. And now I'm looking at it today, and I'm like, oh my god, I love it so much. It's like the best case scenario. Heck yeah. Sater was trying to get my hot take, and Sater pinged me in our Tavern, like our secret mod chat. So I went to look to make sure it wasn't anything important. Sater also wants to know my hottest take. I said it had to do with religion. Like, I want to know. I'm like, no. Nope. I'll probably DM you later, Sater. All right. So we're going to build a noise modifier right now that I can continue to apply to the rest of the model. So I'm going to click on comma, bring up noise for Lightbox. Also, it is Tavern Keeper's Craft time. My goodness. Well, bam. Welcome to Tavern Keeper's Craft. This is where I work on like one thing and I focus, supposedly. Depends how good of questions you guys ask and how much you absolutely derail me, but it's fine. All right, so I'm going to get all of this adjusted just the way that I want it. And what's really cool is that I can copy these settings and then continue to paste them on other subtools. Pretty cool. I don't see any orange in the chat, so I'm assuming you guys don't need my attention. If you do, orange at M3DM. I wonder if I can change that color to pink. I would prefer that. All right. Can we split mask points, please? Come on. There we go. That looks pretty good. And again, I don't blanket the texture on here. I actually make sure that I just do mask by noise, and then I can like control how this deformation fits the model even more. So I click mask by noise twice, I invert the mask, and then I use my move brush. And it's not working? Oh, I have dynamic turned on. The heck? My move brush has 0 intensity. That'd be why. Okay, we fixed it. And then I go ahead and kind of push these forms in myself manually. Foxy mentioned, yeah, it is legitimately hard to get to the point where you're like, I am good at what I do. It is. I did not call myself an artist for a long time. I don't know. Something about the word, like, I'm an artist, like, for a living, feels really, like, pretentious. I don't know. Even though it's, like, literally what I was doing. The other day, I said I didn't work in industry because I wasn't, like, employed by someone, and Just Lingual, like, gave me a very, like, loving smackdown in the chat. Like, are you joking? And I was like, okay, you're right. I need to stop saying that. Or not saying that. A lot of fantastic chat going on right now. Good peasants. Okay, I told you to use and keep poly paint, and then you destroyed my poly paint. What's up with that? There we go. I was like, come on, ZBrush. We're cool. Alright, that looks good. Full plate armor, and this is going to be, yeah, upper arm is what I called it. Hi. There we go. All right, and let's layer these up. Going to scoot this up and then layer it down a few times. I'm gonna be really careful with my camera angle here because these can be a little tricky to fit just right. Like, I'm already not crazy the way those are layering. How do? About like that. Interesting. Like, I like how it looks right here, and I want that look on the bottom. How do I do that? Rhetorical question. I don't have to specify that, otherwise I'll have like the peasants run to my rescue. I'm like, no, I'm thinking, just give me a second. All right, one of the first things I'm gonna do is actually remesh by union so that the trim is part of the mesh here. So that way when I'm editing it, I don't have to worry about pieces moving where I don't want them to. All right, that's gonna be the way. And then scoot that up and then clean it up with Move Topological to make sure it is layering just the way I want it to. You know, it's crazy how when you want things to look good, you have to like really try. It doesn't just happen. Crazy. That is gorgeous. Wow. Cool. I'm messing with it a little bit because, I don't know, I just think I got a lot of cool options here. Especially depending how much I want this to grab onto the arm. I wonder how easy it'd be to edit and like make new versions of this. Pretty cool. Empress says, I am slowly coming around to calling myself an artist. That's awesome. And it does. It takes time. I don't know why. Even though you literally, like, well, it's an artist. Someone that makes art. You're making art. You're an artist. And yet somehow that feels weird to say, doesn't it? I get you. On some things, I'll give my students a hard time and be like, oh, come on. Just call yourself the thing. But in this one particularly, like, I get it. It feels weird. Okay, I like the 2-layer for this specific character. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Let's work on this helmet. I know this is going to be a tricky one for me, and I'm excited to work on it. All right, got 2 references up. Let's go. The first thing I'm gonna do is just review the overall shape and how we're doing. It's actually looking pretty darn good. And the second thing I'm gonna do is make sure that everything is in as many discrete pieces as it needs to be. And I think it'd be easier if this top section here, that's really hard to tell. Like, meep, I'm gonna mask it. This section here, there's, wow, that masked beautifully. Did you guys see that? Oh my God, that polygroup just how I wanted it to. I'm gonna make these 2 separate pieces so it's really easy for me to separate that visor. Hey, when I mask points, you didn't do what you said you were gonna do. What? There you go. All right, it's being a little silly when I'm trying to mask points. So instead what we're gonna do is we're gonna duplicate this piece and I will just hide the topology on each side. Haha, I will win. Where did it go? So here's the top section and here's the bottom section. Bam. Masking was not the way to go. Just delete hidden, that was the way to go. All right, I got this piece looking really clean. And I'm not too worried about the back half of it. I think this front section is really what makes this mask or the helmet read well. All right, now let's go ahead and open up a little like slit right here so you can actually see. Ooh, before I do that though, I kind of want to make sure that I make a really nice base here that I can then create new helmets from. So let me spend a little bit more time on this base. Sater says pinged at me. Oh, you DM'd me. What's the hot take? I want to know. Beautiful. Lol, you just said I'll DM you later as I sent that message. That's so funny. Oh, that's awesome. There we go, for the stream. I like it. Drama. Like, I think this should be a little lower poly. It's looking really good, but really, I've done such a good job taking my time with this entire armor set. I want to keep that going. Let's put this updated stamp up here, because damn, it's looking good. I'm doing the thing, y'all. Hey, more helmets. And then some of them have this really cool, like, extra flap on the back. I think for this model especially, it's gonna be a more is more sort of situation. So I'm gonna mask this section here and see if I can create this little lip. You know what? No. Wait, yes. You can use extrude loose with the Z brush to really get a nice effect here. But again, I'm creating these helmets and everything on this model specifically go to my asset library so I can iterate more versions of armor in the future really easily. So I actually do want these pieces to be as versatile as possible. Keith says, I wonder if a resin printer could manage a functional visor hinge. Resin lacks the accuracy that most print in place from movables require. Yes, unless it depends on what kind of resin that you're buying. Resin can be extremely accurate. Look at like dental resins, or even it's called like engineering resin. We had a company send us a bottle, and yeah, it was like $100 bottle of resin. That shit was cool. It was very precise. But yeah, you just have to pay for more expensive resin. But still, overall, just because resin's kind of heavy, I still think FDM would be better. All right, I'm going to go to extrude and then loop here. Where is it? Extrude, edge loop. See? That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, this thing. That's what I'm making. Yeah. Paint, you're on it. Which is not surprising. You've been pretty awesome with all the references and stuff. In the last few weeks especially. Reaper said, yeah, part of commissioning is knowing you're trying and trying to let the comments get to you. Just say you're sorry, offer a discount maybe, and move on. For every one bad customer, there's 3 good ones. Is that really your ratio? Because, God, if it is, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. I definitely had better odds than, what is that, 25%? Woof. Yeah, no. Sometimes, okay, I have noticed that the cheaper my commissions were, the more awful my customers were. As I raised my prices, they were a lot nicer, I'll tell you that. But still, everything you said, Reaper, is spot on. You can't let it get to you. You're doing your best. I love that. Just offer a discount and move on. Absolutely. Yeah, Rat Girl said 100%. The more you charge, the more chill clients are. It's counterintuitive. It is. I mean, depending how expensive you get, you'll run into a new upper echelon of jerks. You want it to be in that like happy medium. You want people like in our community. They're going to be great. That's why I'm so excited that Eloa is working with Micah. I'm like, that's perfect. It doesn't mean that you guys are never going to disagree or have different creative opinions, but you're going to be classy and cool about it. You know, like that's what's important. All right, this has all of the fundamental pieces that I wanted. I can make so many cool helmets from this quite easily. So right now I am merging all these pieces together, and I'm going to export this, and then I'm going to split them up again to high detail. I'm only doing this extra step right now because I'm building that asset library. Maybe I should share these with my students. I didn't think about that. This is kind of like what I'm talking about by offering asset packs to my students. It's kind of like an Armit style helmet, but also, what is it? Yeah, Salet. Yeah, it's kind of like a mixture. Hey, Goni's here. Hello, welcome in. Micah says, I've commissioned at least 30 people in the last 20 years, and of them, I've only had issue with 4 artists. 2 were scammers, not actually artists, and 1 was just backed up, but communication was bad. Yeah, that can happen. I get you. Okay, I love this. Sator's just like, F that, why give them a discount for being a dick? If they like your work, they'll come back with or without the discount. I get you. I just somehow, like, sometimes when people are really, like, stressing me out, like, this is a long time ago, when I was early on, it can be easy to, like, no, Sator's right. Sator is right on this. I just did it to, like, diffuse the situation and know that I did my part. Does that make sense? I think I need to move that piece up. Yeah. Making some good progress today. Monkey says, I don't like doing commissions because of all this. I get you. That's why I don't do them anymore. The last commission that I accepted was last December for Taylor Brownie in our community. I accepted it. They paid half up front. It was great. I did some work on it, and I was like, you're great, I'm great, and I hate doing commissions. I am busy, I just want to do my own work. It was just not in the stars, man. I could tell that I was going to cut corners. I mean, I wasn't, but everything was going to get more strained because of it. And I backed out of it. That's the last commission I've ever accepted. And again, I'm not going to tell you guys how much it was for, because, like, it was well priced. They paid it. They're super cool. Obviously, I gave them a full refund. And I wasn't concerned about the work that I had done. But I was just like, no, I don't miss this. Here we go. I love this. The trifecta of good, fast, and cheap. You get to pick 2. All 3 does not exist. Amen. All right. So if you have a polygroup or a piece like this and you want to split it to your points, instead of just masking it and manually doing it, you can just go to split to similar parts, and it should do it for you. Yep. Okay, it got a little confused, but it mostly did a good job. Yeah, there you go. Sweet. Is that creased? It is. Looks good. All right, let's time to get these secondary forms in here. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited. The first thing I'm going to do is create a little gap. So I'm going to insert a poly loop right here. And I'm inserting that just so I can delete the topology underneath it, which should leave me with a little gap. Maybe a little too small. Looks pretty cool though. I love this. Bunny, people tend to forget the second half of the phrase. The customer is always right in matters of taste, and only in matters of taste. And even then, sometimes not even then. I've definitely straight up disagreed with a client before and being like, what you're asking for, you're not even gonna like. Please let me just do this my way. And if you don't like it, I'll go back and do revisions for free. And I did it and they loved it. And I was like, I told you. Also, thank you for trusting me. I am literally the artist that you have hired. Let me do the thing. All right, so I don't really like having, like the gap all the way around makes the most sense, but also for 3D printing reasons, I think it'd be nice if there was a little bit of structure right here. So what I'm actually going to do is mask this section right here and delete Polygroup Island. I'm gonna leave a section in the middle connected. Yeah. Ooh, that's clean. I like it. And now I'm going to create, I can do like the vertical lines or not. I think it actually looks quite good just the way that it is. No, it's a little silly. It's a little silly. I want more drama. So I'm gonna start using my move brush here and shaping. Would you move, please? Come on, there we go. Shaping this to fit her face a little better. See that? Like that looks pretty cool. Oh, interesting. This is 2 separate pieces. No, I want to weld those points, please. Modify topology, weld points. So now I polish my features, we're all good again. Good. Sater says, Mia, yes, now that is artist customer service. Absolutely. And they were one of my best paying and long-term clients for a very long time. No, I stopped doing commissions. Actually, I think they're on my Patreon still. Yeah. That looks really cool. All right, let's see if I can add a really cool crease on the front of the face here. So to do that, I'm just using my mask lasso brush, masking the center point as tight as I can, inverting it, and then using my gizmo to move this line forward. See that? I can probably use my crease brush to add some cool stuff here too. Let's see how that looks. It's rounding off the corners, if that makes sense, but it's cleaning up the front of it as well, which I like. Yeah, it's cool. It's going to cause it to not line up quite as well as it did before. It's okay. I need to not be too fussy with this. I'm really trying to work on shapes and pieces that I haven't. This whole week has been me just working on stuff that I don't normally put this much time into. Keith says, I don't think I've actually printed many with an actual visor gap. What does the slicer do to the face behind the visor, hidden supports? Now you wouldn't need that. This is going to print no problem. Because this is going to be touching the chin. So you're going to have a support on the chin like normal. And then all this is going to print. The visor is probably going to extend into her face if you really want to know the nitty gritty behind it. It's going to look like this on the inside. So from the front, it's going to look the same. And on the back here, it's actually just going to weld through her face. So there's not going to be a face, I guess. All right. I think I can adjust this to kind of look like winged eyeliner. It'd be a cool moment. Okay, the fact that I can see her face is actually really weird. Kind of like, it's just like her eyes peering through is so uncanny. Can we just not? There. Black. He says, thanks, that explains it. You're welcome. All right, that's looking pretty cool. Again, it's subtle. A lot of subtleties that make this model work. That's why I don't usually make full plate armor like this, because it's very sensitive. But man, when you have the time to put into it like I do this week, it's so cool. It's so much fun. Rat Girl says, okay, I'm gonna run eat food. It was nice to hang out for a bit. Yeah, it's nice to have you. I'm also thinking about food right now. All right, it's time to put some secondary forms on this and keep on going. Be brave, Mia. You got this. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is add that trim, and I'm gonna make sure that it's following the creases as well. So stroke, curve functions, and frame mesh, and then we're going with that golden trim I've been adding. Oh, you still have everything else there. Ricky is laughing out there. I don't know what's going on. Wow, how's Tavern Keeper's Craft barely started? That's crazy. Just Lingual says, I'm also trying to make things that aren't winged eyeliner and look like winged eyeliner. I've never intentionally designed anything with winged eyeliner though. I just want to accentuate eyeballs. Same. Same. Isn't that crazy how much cooler that looks with that trim? Man. Armor especially, I'm learning, it just wants you to move on. You just gotta move on. Keep making the thing. My husband is out there laughing at something, and I'm sure it's the dog doing something stupid, and I feel like I'm missing out. I'm like, oh, what's happening? Oh my gosh, I love this. What? I guess I don't have to have this showing necessarily, based on the way I've constructed this. But you know what? I'm going to, just in case in the future I don't have this little skirt piece on. Do the eyeballs look weird because the real-time shading lights them in a place where they should be nothing but shadows? There are currently no eyeballs at all that are visible. But if you mean just like in general, why like eyes look weird in 3D programs, yeah. That's why I have with a material called toy plastic, so that way they're shiny. Because when eyes aren't shiny, they're just like paper flat, and that is jarring and weird. You also, when you have them in a 3D scene, should paint shadows on them. Let's see, where are those eyeballs? I might have deleted them because I just don't need them. They're in there somewhere, I think. But anyway, I actually do have a black line that you polypaint on top to kind of simulate that effect. But ultimately, none of this matters. I don't print. There isn't any printing in color. I just do it because I think it's fun. You know what? I want to actually add one more crease to this. Let's go ahead and delete that. A crease right here and right here. It says it's not symmetrical, but I know it is, so we'll do a mirroring weld operation. There we go. And now, only a small bee revolution. All right, there we go. Perfect. And then I'm also going to use some really cool creases right here to add some more detailing onto the back of this helmet. I think I'm going to do 3 sides, just like that. Yeah, that's going to be cool. Okay. And then this section right here, I can go ahead and replace because I decided I'm going to go for a fancier version. There we go. Isn't that fun? You just click and it just looks amazing. I'm really proud of this helmet. This is easily one of the best helmets I've ever made. Heck yeah. Oh yeah, also she's gonna be a centaur. For those that are just tuning in like, what the heck? I'm just going ahead and making a normal human because I don't have really awesome plate armor, but I'm working on that. Yeah. Keith said, matte eyeballs. New ick unlocked. Yeah. What's more jarring than matte eyeballs is when a friend has a fake eye and didn't tell you until he pulls it out a year later. Like on one hand, yeah, on the other hand, you didn't notice? That must be a really good fake eyeball. I have so many questions. All right, this is coming out really awesome. I'm actually gonna take a quick break because we're 2 hours in and I really wanna make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because I'm getting hungry. So, a little out of order today. I'm gonna take a quick break and then I'm gonna come back. It's currently 2 o'clock. I'll be back by 2:30 p.m. at the absolute latest, so at the next half hour. Whoop. All right, I'll see you guys in just a bit, okay? And I encourage you too to like, go grab a snack, go grab a drink. We'll reconvene. It's break time. Hello. I am back. I got a little distracted because my housemate's been gone for like 2 months and he's back. And yeah, obviously we think he's pretty cool because we decided to move in with him. So it was good to see him. Alrighty. Armor. It's armor time. Alright, what did I miss? Talking about mini painting. I love it. That makes sense because paint is here. Oh, Keith also paints. Fantastic. Foxy, I must go now. My people need me. That's very dramatic. I like it. And absolutely off-white colors is the way to go. Yeah, don't go too saturated. That's how you run into problems. I like it. Very cool. All right, well, I'm going to keep on working on this. Surprising nobody. And I'm finally going to start moving on to these arms. I don't know why I did it like that. Or van braces. This is probably on my previous models one of my like less successful areas. I've made nice looking breastplates and tassets and whatever, but this one especially is something that I usually kind of just good enough. So I'm excited to kind of push that into something better. All right. Well, let's continue. This is officially happy hour though, so if I have any students that have work you want me to review or ask me questions about art, business, the meaning of life, now is the time to do so. Oh, and first I do want to add some actual substance to this helmet. So let's go ahead and do that. Because currently it doesn't really exist. If I turn off double, you'll see it's completely transparent on the inside. And that's because it's single-sided, so this is obviously not 3D printable. All right. And so usually with stuff like this, when you can't see most of it, I just add as much material as possible without it being too ridiculous and clipping through itself. Because like right here, you can kind of see we got some funniness going on. That looks good. I'm gonna turn off poly paint and pick a lighter gold color so I can actually see what I'm doing. Sweet. Now I can subdivide a few times. Gorgeous. So it looks like when I subdivided here, I lost some volume right here. I don't want that to happen. And that happened because when I added dynamic, oh, I see. So this is why crease is so important. It's a tool that will let you maintain shape and volume, not just for hard surface, but again, right now, if I go ahead and subdivide, this completely rounds off. And even though it's small, it's gonna cause these lines to no longer line up. It doesn't look nearly as good, right? So I'll show you how to fix that. Don't mind the fact that one poly looks like it doesn't exist anymore. We'll just click mirror and weld, not worry about that. All right, Z-modeler brush, hold over this edge and then crease. So now when I subdivide, these should maintain their shape. Very good. I think I need to do that for the entirety of the model. Yes, perfect. And then we'll add our tertiary details and all that wear and tear just a moment here. Hey, Rusty Bushface is here. Coming in with a banger comment like usual. Where is the how to be less shit tutorial? I wish. And when I have a tutorial for that, I will let you know. But for now, I found just trying a little bit every day helps. Not too much, because then you get burned out. Just try a little bit. Yeah, but not too much. Sater says, maybe I should pull an Eloa and give myself a title. Sater, unofficial art director. Yes, absolutely. Resting Witch Face just says beauty. And I'm assuming you're talking about this because I am so freaking proud of this set of armor. Oh my god. Eloa, my title was bestowed upon me. I mean, you're not wrong. That is allowed. Alright, so it's looking really good. Let's go ahead and add some wear and tear. So I'm going to go into my noise modifier. And did I not hit copy? I didn't. Gasp. Alright, we're going to redo the noise modifier for like the 10th freaking time because I can't remember to save my settings. So let me show you how to do this. Alright, comma for lightbox. Noise. Click on noise, it speaks to you. I like this one. You get a preview of it right here, but it never looks good. Click on frames, you can actually see it. and we're going to edit all this cool stuff here. So I'm going to increase the scale, and I'm also going to decrease the intensity just a touch. Again, there's no like hard and fast rule here, and you'll see why it especially doesn't matter if it's perfect in just a moment. I think that's good enough. Click OK. And instead of just clicking apply to mesh where it covers the whole thing, I'm actually going to have a little bit more control over it. And I'm going to click mask by noise. So it does exactly what it sounds like. It's going to mask that texture. And so now I have full control over how I want this to lay on the model, which is also how I get away with not doing UV seams and unwrapping, because I don't have to worry about seams because I can avoid them. All right. I'm going to turn off symmetry. I'm going to push these shapes in myself using the move brush. Check that out. Isn't that cool? So I guess it's a little more tedious, I guess. It gives you so much control though, and you can really get exactly what kind of look you want on your armor. Check that out. If your armor does not have wear and tear on it, what are you doing? It must have wear and tear. The power of creasing. Yes. Okay, sweet. Can I highlight this for a second here, Empress? Because I feel like I was pretty harsh with you yesterday. Way more than usual, right? I feel like usually I'm like, precious baby. And I really walk through everything. Yesterday I was like, no, you're doing it wrong. But I was right. And you figured that out. So Empress this was her attempt. And she was trying to create a texture like this. And you would actually hand sculpt that kind of texture. But I mentioned this base you have right here, like just rewatch my video and really pay attention to where those creases are. And Empress is funny. She's like, I did crease. I did it. And I'm like, almost, but not quite. It's very sensitive. And she trusted the process, even though I was a little harsh with her. And she ended up with this. That's what I'm talking about. Again, it's very, very sensitive. I appreciate you not giving up when I was just very literal and over again. I was like, just watch my video again. And you're like, I did watch it. I'm like, no, watch it again. So I really appreciate you. Seriously. Yes, this is exactly what I want to see. I'm really proud of you. This looks awesome. So now to answer your question from yesterday, how to texture this. I would use the standard brush and I would remove material. So holding down option using standard, and then be very careful with how you do it. So it's like this whole shape right here, that'd be like one stroke with the standard brush, and then build up that line on the edge using damp standard. If you're comfortable, use that orb brush pack. I know I was giving you some problems, so not every brush works, but the ones that do work would be a good thing to incorporate here as well. Again, very proud of you. Empress says, no, I really needed it. No problem. And then Ray's messages all got deleted. Okay, this is an ongoing joke where we constantly mute Ray. We love Ray. We love to see it, and Ray's a menace. Ray said, a little harsh? Nah, it was a lot harsh. Again, it's totally a joke. Ray is great. And continue to mute Ray because it's hysterical. Okay, Eloa, I literally cannot read that on stream. But, yeah, I love my mods. You guys get me. Sater says, why do you make me hurt you, Ray? He would tell you about it if he wasn't timed out. Also, Empress, it's funny that you say that because one of my other students, Matt, who I just adore, and he has a new Kickstarter coming out. I'm going to tell you guys all about it when it's ready. Any day now. Even like when I do my one-on-one meetings with him every week, and his has to do more with like art business and stuff. Even he has at this point, he's just like, if I'm doing anything dumb, or because he says the word shite, which I think is super, super funny because he lives not in the United States. But anyway, he's like, you should just call me out on it. And I'm like, oh, I will. But it's cool that you guys look to me for that. It's awesome. Oh my God. All right. This is coming along beautifully. And I'm really happy that my armor skills have improved so much because, again, I have students like Eloa that are improving rapidly, which is great. But I still have to make sure that I'm better than you. You know, it's part of being a mentor. I got to keep growing. And this is one of those things where you put so much time and love into your projects, Eloa, that I was like, I need to learn how to do armor. So I learned. It really is one of my favorite parts of having students is that anytime I think, it's good enough, I think, oh man, don't I have a student that's really good at that? I'm like, Part of it's competitive, but also part of it's like, man, I want to be good at this for them. And then so I go back and do a better job. I don't know. Okay, we're remeshing. I can't remember if I've been remeshing these pieces on high or not. I don't think so. Ooh, I'm really happy that piece of topology was deletable. Excellent. It sounded really sarcastic, but I meant it. Like, I'm actually happy about that. Okay. When your sense of humor is so dry, you have to be like, no, really. That is what I meant. Hey, Ford is here. Dropped in to hear my name immediately. Yeah, that's hysterical. I mean, we always talk about you. It was good. Maniac says, mentorship students get one-on-one meetings. No, it depends. Again, if you have a business, yes, because it's so much faster and easier for me to handle that. Like, if I had to type out all of the advice I've given Matt with his business, it would fill like books. It's a lot of talking, you know, and because there's so much nuance to it. I do have other students I do one-on-ones with occasionally, but it really just depends on your needs. Oh, Eloa. Yeah, I'm afraid for that next one. Yeah. Oh, why did I put my lemonade so far away? Okay. Yes. Like, there's been a few times where I've done voice chats with Ray even, because I did write a bunch of stuff out, and then we started talking a little further, and I could tell that I didn't know what he was saying, and he didn't know what I was saying, and I'm like, oh, this would be so much faster if we just called, and we did, and it was much, much, much faster. Ray said, Mia called me to explain stuff. I was terrified. She really didn't want to type. No, I didn't. Again, I was like, we're not on the same page, and you were terrified. You sounded fine. Ray, you listened to me talk for hours a week. Maybe because it was direct. It was scarier. You did great. You sounded very person. And that's also why I give feedback on stream, and I will just like tag them with a timestamp of what I said. Because I can provide so much more detailed feedback when it's voice. This is going to sound super silly, but like, I don't always need to hear your side of the story. Does that make sense? But with Matt, like, I really need to hear what he's going to say because, again, like, it's his business and potentially, like, livelihood. You know what I mean? Like a replacement of income. The stakes are staking. Oh yeah, I did say that, Eloa. Eloa said, well, Ray, at least you didn't say you sound like you were in Dark Souls. Eloa, to be fair, you were like, were you disappointed it didn't sound like a queen? I was like, yeah, a little bit. I didn't know if it was going to be that or like Dark Souls. Yeah, that's about what I said. Never mind. Maniac says, well, I'd like to institute business, so when the time comes, would I get that benefit as well? Absolutely. We would do a sit-down call to make sure that you are off to the best possible start, 100%. And it also helps me like disperse a lot of like misconceptions and common pitfalls in the beginning. As of now, Maniac, we gotta get you making way more models, which you already know that, and that's why we're cooking and working on that. Yeah, Matt said, staking much. Wife is desperate to quit teaching. I believe that. And that just kills me because I don't know anything about your wife, but I know about you. So I can figure your wife is also lovely, and I bet she's exactly the kind of person we want to be a teacher. But just like the infrastructure and the way that things are, it's very punishing to be a teacher, regardless of what country you live in, you know? And that sucks. I wish we were nicer to our teachers. It's too bad. Makes me mad. Maniac says, great, good to know, of course. And I would have brought that up for you, don't worry. There's no secret passcode that gets you a meeting. I pretty much think that it's worth it or it's not. I did one meeting with Mini Mimics David, and he was like, when's our next meeting? And I'm like, there isn't one. You need to go make a bunch of art, and then we will reconvene. And that's what he's doing. He's doing a great job. I'm actually excited for his next update. All right, I don't want delete polygroup. Stop doing that. So there's a button under ZModeler that literally just says do nothing. And it's my favorite button because I misclick all the time. All right, why are you destroying yourself? There you go. I thought that was already creased. Oh, no, it wasn't. See? Before, after. You like cannot even see that. Glad I have good eyesight. Goodness. All right, it's looking pretty good. Nice and smooth. I still don't think I clicked copy for noise modifier. I'm gonna drive myself insane. Yeah, Forge mentions 100%. She loves it, but it's so difficult these days. And again, talking about his wife who's in teaching. Boo. Boo. We'll see. We're gonna get, everyone's gonna be rich and famous, and then it won't matter. Okay, it says, I wish I could make stuff more. Don't we all? I feel that. It's crazy. This is my full-time job. And I'm still like, man, I wish I made more art. It's like, Mia, that's crazy. I'm like, but really though. All right, I'm not forgetting. I'm clicking copy this time, so I have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Again, we're clicking mask by noise a few times, and then the move brush. We can kind of like nudge this and get this really cool effect. It's weathering. Again, you can click apply to mesh. You don't have to do it by hand the way that I'm doing, but I find that I'm really picky on the way that it sits on the mesh, so I like having the most control possible. And if I'm ever concerned that it's not quite bumped up enough, I can go to my contrast slider over here, which is under the deformation palette, and just slide it over a touch. I only know about this slider because of Ray. So thank you to Ray. Pretty good. And keep on keeping on. Sater says, Eloa. She hasn't commented. I'm thinking she is me. And probably wouldn't because she's used to it, but I think I sound like a bumpkin. Low-educated country folk. No one ever agrees with me, just my perception of my own voice. Yeah, dude, you don't sound like that at all. That is your perception of your own voice, which is wild. I mean, it's funny you say that, because like my husband used to think that about himself, to some extent. It's okay, you guys can just be wrong. Ray says, quoting me, thank you to Ray. Stop muting me then. I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna put you in timeout for 10 seconds. I think it's so funny there is a 10-second timeout. Eloa says, no, Satyrs sound exactly how I wanted them to. That cool and wise uncle who gives you a slap on the ass and says, good job, kid, and keeps moving. That's about what I thought too, but I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But it does. Oh my god, you're making me cry. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Reaper also sounded exactly how I thought that she would. It was just you, Eloa, that I wasn't quite sure. As you know. Gosh, you guys make me laugh. Okay, Sater's also dying. That is the best description of my voice I've ever heard. I can back it up. I agree with it completely. Yeah, Sater, you sounded so exactly the way I expected you to. It was almost like I felt no need to even comment on it. I was just like, yep, that checks out. I tried to describe what you guys sounded like to Ricky since he missed our last call where we all hung out. And I tried to explain the Eloa thing, and he didn't get it at all. He was like, yeah, it's exactly how I thought Eloa would sound. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then he pretty much did a really terrible impression of Eloa without ever hearing Eloa before, and it was spot on. It was crazy. And mentioned when I did the Fall of Eloa live stream and that prompt, and because it was so thoughtful and melodramatic, he's like, oh yeah, no. He's that kind of guy. I was like, what does that mean? And then he went on to hear like the worst British accent you've ever heard in your life. It was great. I expected more drawl out of Reaper. Yeah, I could see that. Now that I know what state she lives in, it doesn't super surprise me. Because even living in Tennessee, like, you move just like 10 miles in any direction, I swear, and the accent is like totally different in how dramatic it is. It's the same accent, but the intensity of it is quite a slighter. There are people in the town that I live in that it's like they don't move their mouth when they talk, just like, hey. It's wild, man. I think go to Knoxville and it's like the preppiest people you've ever heard in your life. And I'm like, am I back in California? Monkey said, what do I sound like, Mia? Normal as well. Just Single says, Mia, what is your impression of me? You throw me off like what I think you would sound like because, again, your background and what you mentioned like with your name and like the Thai roots, makes you think that you would have like an accent. I mean, everyone does, but you know what I mean. I imagine you would sound just like Foxy, but without the British accent, but like the same cadence and tone. That's my guess. I don't know if you ever hung out in the Peasant Hub and listened to Foxy talk, but that's my guess. I think Just Single sounds like Aladdin, the animated one. That's beautiful. Also, Sater, that is so funny. You do not sound like a country bumpkin or uneducated at all. You sound very intelligent. Ray said, since we're doing voices, I sound the way you expected, Mia. Exactly. That was the only one that was spot on. You actually sound... So, Eloa, fun fact, Ray sounds a lot like you and vice versa, but Ray's voice isn't as low. And talks a bit faster, which isn't a high bar. Eloa has, like, very deep, slow voice. Toto says, this is getting very interesting. Yeah, I'm panicking a little bit. Everyone's asking because I'm like, oh, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. This is just, it doesn't, my opinions don't mean anything. Oh God, Paint. We haven't talked yet. What do you think of me? It doesn't help, Paint, that like your little icon is like that little wolf. So like to me, like you're just like a little guy, which is not true. I know that like you're like a full grown human. It's the same way like Monkey for the longest time I pictured you as just like a literal monkey behind a keyboard. I imagined, Paint, that you would... I don't know if you guys have ever talked with Corey. I imagine you'd be like Corey, but less flamboyant. Yeah. It's not helpful because you haven't heard Corey. Yeah, Eloa said, Mia said expecting to be either really fruity and bubbly or the opposite. Yeah. Paint said, I'm a little guy. Yay. Yeah, that was really my thought. Yeah, Monkey's voice totally matches. Absolutely. Sater says, I just feel like I have more of a deep, slow, derpy cadence. I think you just hate your own voice. You sound totally normal. Ray says that description for Paint is spot on. Is it? Have you heard them talk? Because they've hung out in the Peasant Hub? Because if so, that's hysterical. Let's go. Toto says, I haven't met anyone in voice chat yet. I will soon, maybe tonight if I work. That'd be awesome. I'm like never in there, but I would love to hang out with you guys, but I just don't because we hang out enough as it is, I think. Monkey says, it's because I'm 100% pure human. Yes, very human. Also, I see that Matt messaged me. I want to look just to see if by chance they launched your Kickstarter. And if so, I'm going to make a big freaking deal about it. Okay, no, this is about just making sure it looks good. Okay, in that case, I'll make Ricky look at it a bit later, too. It's a private preview. Ooh, yeah, the renders are brighter. Ooh, especially the green on Infested Ruins. I really like everything that I'm seeing, Matt. This is very exciting. I'll still have Ricky look at it, but ooh, the printed photos. Oh my god, that looks incredible. Wow. Okay, your campaign already looked good, but these printed photos are absolutely insane. Incredible. I feel like some of your other renders are now not showing up, but that's just this being stupid, I think. Some of your renders are not showing up, just so you know. But you're still working on it. But the printed photos look amazing. Toda says, all right, I'll buy it. I'd like to know what you think of me, M3DM. And to be clear, we're talking about what I think you guys sound like, not who you are as like a person. Toda, you remind me so much of like one of my best friends from high school. Just like the way you talk and your vibes. I imagine it's more of like that, not like in a fruity way like Yas Queen, but like that kind of positivity and that kind of like intensity and energy. Especially because like you said dead ass, which is super funny. So like, I imagine like your talking voice is actually pretty even. But the words that you use are very colorful. Does that make sense? I don't know how we came about this, but I'm glad everyone's being cool about it. Like I'm not hurting anyone's feelings. I don't know how I would, but I don't know. Sater says, knowing how much you resemble Mia, I imagine you sound just like her. That's about how I just described how they would talk. Yeah, a little bit. Bryce says, Mia, I feel like now you categorize us on personality. A little bit, yeah. I'm gonna, like, after the stream, talk to Ricky about this, and he's like, oh, I'm glad that went well. That could have gone bad. But it didn't. Toto says, could you define colorful for me? I know a few different ways. Like, I don't think you're the kind of person that would say very pretty. You would say gorgeous. You know what I mean? So, like, you would use stronger words in place of just saying veries or reallys. So that's gonna be like colorful language. But not like pretentious. Like you wouldn't say vernacular instead of vocabulary, like, or words. You'd just be like, oh, words. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like bright, cheery, and quick. That is, yeah. That as well, I could see. Empress says, I like to think of my voice as questionable. And swearing. I bet you swear a decent amount. And obviously, I could be totally wrong. I'm just spitballing based on what I can get from your comments in the chat and your avatar. So, yeah. Toto says, damn, all right. I'd say that's pretty spot on. Man, I'm not gonna roll today. It's only because you guys, like, portray yourselves well in the chat. You could be an absolute gremlin in my chat and then be like a perfect gentleman in real life. I'd have no way of knowing. Gentlewoman, gentleman, person, you know what I mean. Again, I love this. Like, so this stream like peaked around 20-ish viewers today, but then after my break, it's happy hour, right? And this tends to be when it's just like the regular peasants, and I love this. This is like some of my favorite parts of the stream, where like, you know, the view count kind of dies down. It's just us and the regulars. I don't know. I just hope that like no matter how much my streams grow, that we always have like this time. I just think it's the coolest thing. I really do. Ricky, Mia, what do you think I'm like? I think you're the best. And I think I have a crush on you. Although it says Mia's mod team is cool. Cool uncle, feisty aunt, and depressed Stitch, according to her accounts. At first, when you were saying that, I was like, yes, absolutely. And then it's like, oh, according to her accounts. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the joke. Because I was like, that's so spot on. Oh, amazing. Empress says, literally none. I learned to speak in America, thus zero accent. Oh, interesting. Not even a drop. What? Well, it depends. Wait, no, you told us where you were born, and I was surprised by it. And it wasn't the Caribbean. I think it was the Bahamas. Dude, depressed Stitch. That's Eloa. Not putting that evil on you. I'm just saying, like, oh my god, that's exactly what you sound like. I bet Ricky speaks with rooms and brews. Honestly, he does. Ricky has... Okay, I've met way more men that can do this than women, and I don't know what that commentary even means, but just words. Ricky can hear any dumb sound and, like, make that sound with his mouth. Like especially if it is something mechanical. It's, like, a dumb secret talent. And I'm very jealous of it, because, like, I cannot do that. As you guys tell by my... You can probably tell by my room and burr. That is not a skill that I developed. Fun fact about me, I could not whistle until like a few years ago, and you can ask Ricky, I obsessively tried and practiced whistling every day, like for a couple minutes, for like an entire year before I figured it out. And it always hurt my feelings because people feel like, Mia, you can't whistle, but you're so musical. Because again, you guys know me as like an artist, like a visual artist, but like most people in my life that grew up with me knew me as a musician. So it's very hurtful when they were like, you can't even whistle. And that's not how they said it, but that's how I felt it. I can whistle now. Seder, as soon as I said that, I knew it was wrong. And I was like, oh no. So I just moved on. Thanks for pointing it out. Yes, the Bahamas are in the Caribbean. I know. Just single says, when I'm in other places, I'm decent at code meshing my accent when needed. Yeah, I do that too, a bit. I don't know. I don't want anyone to think that I'm like trying to make fun of them, but like, Matt can probably vouch for this, but like, he has an accent, and I don't sound like him by any means, but there are certain words that I will say differently versus I would like on stream. And especially living in Tennessee, like if I'm around my neighbor, I just sound like them. It's such a natural, like, sing-songy, like, cadence, like, yeah. But I can't just, like, turn on that accent, like, at once, because I feel nervous. But if I hear someone doing it to me, it's very easy to, like, mimic, you know? Ray says, Mia said whistle a tune. I think that would obliterate my mic. I am not going to do that to you guys. Oh no, there's Eloa. It's you. Just kidding. You're doing great, but you are melting in summer, I think. Oh, this is a cool side-by-side, 7 Deadly Sins. Interesting. Yeah, linking pride and self-sufficient together kind of explains partly like why that's my strongest sin for sure. Seder says, Mia, I'm sorry, I had to because I'm terrible at geography. Honestly, same. And my dad is like freakishly good at it. I bring this up just because, I don't know. You know, like when you grew up, well, it depends how much you like your parents. But I really liked one of mine. And when you grow up, you think your parents know everything, right? When you're like a little kid. And at some point you get older and you're like, oh wow, my parents are just people, right? And they don't know everything. And adulting is hard and whatever. I am almost 30 and I have never grown out of that. My dad knows fucking everything. I swear to God. Especially geography. So yeah. Yeah. I have to show, this is great. Just Lingle says, something interesting is also how language changes my personality and accent. Like my Spanish self is definitely more yassified than my Southwestern self. That is hysterical. And I know what you mean. I do. Ooh, here we go. Kind of happy hour, kind of not. I made this a quick sketch just for the Summer Art Fest. How would you push the design? Excuse me. We're actually doing some art review right now. I like that his heads are small because it makes so they fit on his body, and then he looks especially tall and lanky and cool. Your primary shapes are interesting. I like this a lot as well. I would say, and again, we have some interesting, like some like tearing, whatnot. It's missing the wow factor. And you touched on that. Like, what would push this design? I think it'd be so, again, because it's so cool. Again, by the way, it's awesome. Can we start with that? This looks fantastic. I think you're just being a little shy with your design here. Everything is pretty safe. This gets pretty interesting. I would make the blade just a touch longer. That's minor. I don't know if it needs to be like spikes on the pauldron or perhaps some like rich engravings, but something that's really gonna like pump this up. It is just a sketch, I get that. Ooh, you have 3 different expressions on these faces. I'm just noticing that. Maybe tying that design element in more. This like neutral, angry, and sad. Really exaggerating that. And maybe emphasizing the fact that it appears almost like his neck can turn to put a different mask forward. If you're going to have some eerie elements like that, bring up the spook. Because if I cover his face, he looks like a normal-ish, you know, like soldier, paladin kind of character. Where's the weird? Spikes, horns, filigree, demonic etchings, runes, something that the storytelling comes in. Like, if he was gonna be like spookier, I would imagine like, I'm a big fan of like the hags from, or the crones from Witcher 3. I think of like a necklace of ears. Yeah. I know I didn't give you the answer, but I hope that kind of pushes you in a direction. There we go. Paint magic runes, some sort of knowledge floating around the armor. That's so funny we had such a similar suggestion. I love that. Yeah. Awesome. Reading through the chat right now. Let's see. Toda, are you saying, I'd say M. Is that being me? Me? I assume so. And Toda says, if I had to give a guesstimation, I'd say M, potentially Mia, me. You'd be very polite at first, very bright, cheery, attentive, until you get a good feel of the person you're talking to. If you're talking about me, that is spot on. I am the most polite person you will ever meet. I am very, like, I'll take up, like, space, but, like, perfectly inoffensive. That's for sure. Yeah. And then once it clicks, you bloom, open up, and become the most candid version of yourself. You're family-oriented, humble, and more confident than you think. That's very sweet. I don't know if I describe myself as family-oriented. Maybe like more like tribe-oriented. Not that I don't love my family very, very much. I don't see them that often. But like whoever is part of my family, like my picked tribe. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that has to be about me. That's like really spot on. I love, you become the most candid version of yourself. That's spot on. That's kind of what you guys get to skip. You get to just see that. Just Single says, that was great advice. I think something to tell the story is perfect. Perfectly missing. Yay, I'm so glad. And that's kind of for you to, you know, come up and be passionate about. I'm really excited to see what you pick. Yeah, Paint also loves the design. It's fantastic. Thank you for sharing your art, Just Lingual. Seriously, you're very talented. Gorgeous. Pleasant peasants. Paint says, I love when artists think the same. Makes me happy. Me too. It really does. So art is very subjective and blah, 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 blah. But I find that, like, strong... There are correct answers in art, is what I'm alluding to here. And it's cool, and you can see evidence of that when creative minds, excellent creative minds, have the same answer. The nuance in the way that you accomplish that can be obviously very varied, but usually the answer is still the same. Wow, this is just gorgeous. I'm obsessed. All right, merging all of this down. Keep this nice and tidy. And on the plus side, there's not going to be much post-processing for this character because it's just a bunch of armor. Interesting. There we go. Oh yeah, that makes sense. And try to elaborate on family oriented. It just means you prioritize family, like valuing close relationships. Family's a broad term, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. That's me. Eloa says, the late night shift at the Tavern, the last hour or two of the stream is always the best with the most vibes and chill atmosphere in the chat. It really is. It's like it's the in crowd. Like, if you're still here, you know I like you. And if you're lurking and being shy, you count too. I know there's people that watch probably multiple times a week and never talk. I know you're there. You're also appreciated. It's the based peasants. It's the pleasant peasants. This helmet is gorgeous. I'm so proud of myself right now, guys. And how clean this is turning out. This is not the kind of work I normally produce. Not that it's not awesome and whatever, but as I put it, there's lots of secondary forms to hide behind. And not in this case. This is just clean, proper, gorgeous work. Toto says, sweet, so now that we both know each other very deeply and personally like kindred spirits, we're best friends now, right? Yeah, be friends. What is that from, that quote? We're just like, I think we just became best friends. Like, that's from a movie. Did we just become best friends? I know that's from a movie. Emperor says, I miss how we got on this armor project. Is this for our asset library? I thought there was a centaur project in the docket. Yeah, it's a centaur. She's actually a horse, guys. So someone bought a priority ticket on Patreon, Unicron, and I saw the request. I fell in love with it, and I was like, I'm going to make this whole project my entire personality. No, but really, I saw an opportunity here to capitalize on this. My priority tickets are more expensive now than they used to be, so especially... There we go. Is this from Step Brothers? Oh my god, it is from Step Brothers. Did we just become best friends? It is Step Brothers. Thank you, Eloa. I don't know how I feel about that. Are you going to make horse armor too? You betcha. I really did not know how we were going to go from this to this, but we did. And I'm so glad. Alright, we're going to save a high-res version of this as well. Helmet, high. Toto says, the bunk bed scene is my favorite part. It's so dumb. They're all so dumb. Just Single says, I'm not a big fan of Will Ferrell movies, but people who do like them seem happy, so that's nice. I feel that. I am not a huge fan of like raunchy comedies or dumb stuff, but my husband absolutely loves them. And 10 long years later, I am starting to come around to them. Talladega Nights. Ricky Bobby. Needless to say, Ricky also loves that movie. Wow, that's neat topology. When did it do that? What's up with this crisscrossing? Eloa, are you seeing this? How did this even happen? It's like the worst possible option for this topology. Why did it do that? Because I didn't make that. Okay. We're just not going to worry about it. We're going to do my favorite thing that I do with topology I don't like. We're going to reuse it. Come on, symmetry. Do the symmetry thing. Boo. There we go. There should be another one. Cool. I can clean that up in just a bit. Hello, yelling no, right? Right, says Mia, okay, after I got over the wings not working, I actually put the time into the wyvern again. Good. Now I'm just not sure whether it's good enough to put the scales and plates on. Well, whether it's good enough, it absolutely is. But yeah, it's like, do you want to do that now? And it depends how you want to go about that. If you make the scales and plates their own objects, you'll have more control, but it might make posing kind of difficult and it won't deform as organically. I definitely think you're ready for that next part. I don't want you reworking what you currently have too much. I'm probably going to end this stream somewhat soon. Feeling sleepy. It's just me trying to avoid the fact that it's time to do these arms. Okay, Mia. We're not quitting. If I do a good job on these elbow pieces, I can also use them for the knee guards, and that's going to be awesome. Okay, thinking about it. Hello says my favorite pieces are the shoulder pauldrons and the middle piece of the skirt. The layered armor looks great, doesn't it? And I love how like layerable it is. All right, time to do the things. I think I'm overthinking this piece right here. Me overthinking? Nah. Just make a nice shape and be happy with it. No. You need some creases, a polish by features, and see where that gets us. Ah, I do like that. It's funny that I'm avoiding like these pieces because they're essentially just cylinders, so I'm not sure why I'm avoiding it. Ray says, Mia, I'm just going to sculpt them on with an alpha, and yeah, I didn't really change the design, I just find the muscles a little better. I'll send stuff after the stream. Sounds good. And Night is looking awesome. You're sending it after the stream, so I don't show it on stream, aren't you? You're so shy. Your work looks great, especially this new wyvern. Just be careful with the alpha approach. make sure you're still like varying the size of your scales, even though I know like on most reptiles are really even and uniform. If you just blanket it in texture, it's gonna look really noisy. Empress says, Mia, I actually have a question about my character project. Is there a good/decent indicator when you should start adding more digital clay? My brain is super fogged. And how? What is your goal when you should start adding more digital clay? Like if you're adding, like making new assets like clothing, yes, you'll want to extract stuff off of it. If you're building up the body, that as well. Ray says, what? Me? No. I would never try to avoid my stuff on stream. God. Alright, this is looking really good. I'm gonna save this. Van Breslow. Eloa is unimpressed. Alright. I really don't want to work on this right now, but I don't have a good reason not to, so I'm making myself get at least a little bit done. I've committed to just 10 minutes. And look, cool things are happening. See, all the advice I give my students, I don't think you guys realize that's just advice I've given myself. I think it's sweet. I definitely have, like, some students of mine I know can like see like behind the curtain and they're like, oh, you're just as lazy or procrastination heavy as me. But there's definitely a good amount of my students that are like, wow, you just work so hard every day. No problems. No, always problems, y'all. Always problems. And that's okay. That's part of it. What do I say? Like, it's never easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's always lemon, lemon, difficult lemon. I like this. I just wish there was a way to more easily layer it up. I wonder if I can do that. Like if I duplicate it and use my move brush, can this layer nicely and easily? Because that's what I want. Okay, yeah, looks like I can do that. Okay, good. Acceptable. Yeah, Eloa, great. Create a battery check-in first and then dive in. Exactly. And I'm like, create a battery is fine. I'm just being lazy. And then Empress mentions, as when I'm working low poly, when you know it's time to, oh, there we go, up the poly count. And how do you do that with ZBrush? Or should I have been working with Dynamesh the whole time for getting shapes? You can use ZBrush or Dynamesh for getting shapes. So you're specifically working on a base mesh, right? So don't get too Dynamesh or ZBrush happy. You know it's time to up the resolution when you can't add the details at your current resolution. So when you're very low poly, you're very pixelated, right? So if you want to add fine details like bony landmarks like the shoulders and like the subtle bits of skin and like elbow details and like knees and stuff, yeah, just subdivide a few times. For you right now, don't use Dynamesh. No Dynamesh. Dynamesh is good for finding shapes, or like base meshes for like creatures and stuff, or for like you super know what you're doing. This is your very first project, so let's not get too crazy. I need to check on Max. That reminds me. I know Max is getting overwhelmed with their first project, which I totally get. It's totally normal. All right, I'm gonna duplicate these and layer them up because they look cool. But I want to get it, I don't want it to be too chunky. And I can start adding these really cool, like little dramatic curves and points and stuff. Yeah. Drama. Oh, I love that. I don't like how bulgy it looks right here, but I like this curve. I don't like this one though. I will fix. Stop it. Ray says, Mia, you added thickness to a plane solely by using thickness deformation, right? Nope. I use dynamic subdiv. I didn't know thickness deformation is a thing. And Eloa already answered. Amazing. Observant Eloa. Eloa, it makes me so happy, like how much of like what I do and like my work, my process that you just like absorb like a sponge. It's fantastic. Because Eloa, I don't give you very like any feedback on your projects as you're working on them. You just kind of like present them when they're done. So sometimes I worry that you're not getting enough support during your projects, but I guess you are by watching the streams. So very good. Eloa, don't forget you can ask me questions during the stream related to your own projects too. Like, how would I do this? Or how would you do this? Doesn't mean I'll have the best answer, but you know I'm going to think of the best answer that I'm capable of. I don't like what is happening here. Oh, you know what? I know what's happening. It needs a line. Ah, so I can use this to add details after the fact too when I'm going to iterate new versions of this armor. Okay, cool. I freaking love that. Just Single says, you mentioned first project and realized I shouldn't make the ward my first ZBrush project. I should do that in Nomad while I'm learning ZBrush, shouldn't I? Totally up to you. The only wrong way to create art is to not create any art. Whatever is going to make you more comfortable and motivated to like keep doing the thing, that's your right answer. That came out more motivational speech sounding than I expected. But I stand by it. Seder says, Mia, all right, back now. What was your better version of my answer to Empress? Oh, about adding... So I didn't even see your answer, Seder, so I'll answer it without cheating. I essentially said you have to up the subdivision level or like the resolution when you no longer can achieve the details at your current level. Let's see what you said. To Empress, Seder says, when you can't get the desired effect, it's time to up the count. Can't hear me at the moment. Sorry if I got this answered. There you go. Empress says, Mia, okay, follow up to that, because I love Empress as getting that bang for a buck of the mentorship. This is what I'd like to see. Empress says, okay, follow up to that, because in theory, I know a bit about landmarks, but is there an example of that moment of, oh, not enough polys to do X, time to go up? Yes. Let's take this body. Let's go low. This is pretty low. This is 18,000 points. And you can see like her clavicle is really nice and clear. So are her knees. Honestly, this might be enough resolution to get a lot of these landmarks marked in here. But when I up the resolution, let's zoom in on her arm. Let's be SFW. Okay, so here's the lowest subdiv. You can see this is her. Let's also change it to where she's not made of metal, shall we? Cool. You can see a bicep, a tricep, or that's not bicep. That is a deltoid, a tricep, and a bicep. And you can see all this at a low resolution. But let's say I want to add some finer details. And here's the elbow, right? So here's the next subdiv. Okay, what was the difference between here and here? Well, you're starting to see some softness of the transitions of the forms and the planes here. See what I mean? Especially in the elbow. You're really starting to get this ditch right here on either side of the bone. One more resolution. Even more, you get the softness of it. So this is everything's landmarks, softness, softness. And right here you can really see this line right here, these two right here. This, I don't know what it's called. It's a bone. You can't even see that at all once low res. Empress, I don't think you have the practice and anatomy understanding to even worry about this level of subtlety. Don't do this to yourself. You have my permission and enthusiasm to just move on. Your base mesh is good enough. We're not doing an anatomy study, we're doing a project. So don't go crazy over trying to get the softness of forms and these little skin transitions. I've been doing this for 6 years, and even I am still learning a lot when it comes to this. Great question, though. So I wanted to answer your question and give it full enthusiasm still. But immediately I was like, oh my goodness, you're going to drive yourself crazy over this if I let you. Don't. You're good to move on. Monkey, what's your go-to karaoke song? I don't know. I don't really do karaoke. The most karaoke I ever did was I was visiting my now stepmom's family in the Philippines, and I sang a bunch of Adele. Monkey, what's your go-to karaoke song? I'm certain you have an answer to this. Gauntlet has an N in it. Gauntlet. If I Had a Tale by Queens of the Stone Age. Damn, good choice. There's a Queens of the Stone Age song I used to sing all the time and play guitar. If you guys ever ask me, like, oh, what's a book you like, or a movie, or a song? Brain does not hold that information. Brain just does not care. Queens of the Stone Age. No one knows, which is like their most popular song. But yeah, I used to play that guitar all the time. Eloa says, Mia, new record subtools? Either way, it's certainly a new peak of hard surface modeling. It is. Don't even make me look over here. It makes me nauseous. I'm like, there's so much work to be done. So really what's been like the technique here is using the crease brush to add these secondary details for me. That's the biggest thing that I can recommend and share with y'all. Let's see how insane this is gonna look. See, it looks pretty cool. I'm gonna kind of get a little wishy-washy when it comes to the gauntlets, because when I pose this in Character Creator, it's going to obliterate itself, which is fine. So this is gonna have some details that are done after the fact. You can go thinner than that. I know you can. There we go. That's what I thought. That looks insane and really cool at the same time. Also, Ray, I think you and Sade are talking about this, but so this is single-sided, right? There's nothing on it. Here's how I add thickness to that. I go to dynamic subdiv, I increase the thickness, and then turn the offset to -100. That way it preserves my silhouette. So there you go. That is how I do it. If you don't like how chunky the edge looks, then come over with ZModeler and then bevel that inside edge. Well, bam. Which looks much nicer. Although this is honestly the color scheme we got going on, this could easily be a base match for a future clockwork armor. Hell yeah, it could. I was absolutely going to end the stream early just so I didn't have to work on this. And then I was like, nope, it's Wednesday. I have to get this done. And I'm glad that I did, because it really wasn't that big of a deal. What do you know? So assuming you're not feeling super tired, as Eloa puts it, check in on your creative battery. Just commit to working on your model or achieving, like working on some section that you're afraid of for 10 minutes. That tends to be my magic number. If I got absolutely nothing done, that's okay. I will leave it alone, maybe try to learn something and then come back to it. Or I'll look at that 10 minutes of progress and feel encouraged and I just kind of keep on working and I end up getting the entire arm done. Hell yeah. You gotta just like 10 minutes of time yourself every now and then. I don't think I'm even gonna end up doing this little armor, this elbow piece thing. It just doesn't even make sense. I'm not gonna delete it. I'm just gonna hide it for right now. Bryce says thanks for that. You're welcome. Eloa says, being with my commissions, I actually, for the first time ever, had to make the executive call to break symmetry super early on because the whole design relied on it so much. Something you taught me in an earlier stream. Yay! Awesome. That makes me very happy. Just single mentions. Sometimes things are designed to get banished to the asset library for later. This is true. Maybe I should do that little elbow piece. Man, we've made a lot of progress today. Also, let's get back our Z metal texture. That looked really nice. Where did you go? There it is. I'm like, it was... that's not it. That looks terrible. It really was Z metal. Okay. Neat. Let's bump up this lighting because it's so dark. Drama. We'll do this main lighting front on. Okay, no, apparently we're auto-saving. Excuse me, ZBrush. We'll do this like kind of dead center towards the top, a little bit to the left, and then the bounce light I want to be a lot stronger. And where she's facing. Optimal drama usage. And more ambient occlusion. Just kidding, that's too much. Sweet. Oh goodness, I'm proud of that. I'm doing the things, y'all. And technically the rest of this is going to be a horse, so yes, there'll be armor, but I don't have to be as crazy about it. Also, I wonder if I can just like reuse the arm pieces for her legs. I feel like they're really similar in shape. Let's see what I can get away with in a good way. Not in a lazy way, but in the truly like, aren't these the same shape? Because I swear these are the same shape. These are totally the same shape. Hell yeah. Cool. That's going to take some love and care and attention to work all the way. As of now, I'm just throwing them on, and I can tell they're going to work, and that makes me very happy. every now and then I don't like doing this where I reuse pieces and I move around hard surface pieces with a brush, the move brush. Because I'll have students being like, I'll tell them like, don't use the move brush around on stuff that's high res because it's going to turn out all lumpy. And they'll go, but you did it. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Oh my goodness. When you get really comfortable with the move brush, you can do lots of cool magical things. But until you have that hundreds of models of practice, it's not going to listen to you. You must tame the move brush first. Definitely not like a first project maneuver. And to be clear, I've never had any students be that belligerent to be like, but you did it. But they in so many words are like, oh, I thought I saw you do it somewhat successfully on streams. I wanted to try it. And I'm like, no, don't be me. Not yet. That totally worked. That was very chaotic and gorgeous. Love that for me. I'm a teacher. Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah. I don't know how you can use ZBrush without locking the y-axis. It feels horrible. Yeah, you gotta be less rigid to being stuck in the same plane. You gotta just float. Float around. Okay, Ray, if you hold down Shift and click and drag a straight line, it will snap. Did you know that? That'll help. Hello, this is Mia. When you have spare chance, the student artwork channel is updated to the work from today. Yay! I would like a break. Continuing the armor. This is from today. No helmet, no arm stuff. Aha, helmet stuff is happening. So I have a poly group on the top and bottom. There's that first bit of trim. Color, hard surface. More noise modifier goodness. I think it's when I finally remember to copy and paste it for the first time. Added some little belts, and then finally got these band braces and gauntlets. So before, which yeah, that did not take me very long. That specific section. Cool, cool, cool. And then another little bit here, I think. Very good. By far the best armor yet from Mia. Amazing set of streams for students. Aw, thank you, thank you. Tons of patience needed and trust in the process. It's true. You know, I just wanted to zoom through this so bad, Eloa. I appreciate your comment a lot on Monday when I was working on this. I don't know if you could tell that I was feeling a little like, not defeated, but just kind of like blah. And you mentioned like, no, like slow streams are learning streams. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good thing. You're right, you're right. That helped me a lot. Seder, why do you have to say it like that? Oh my god. Anyway, I'm also going to see if I can chaotically make a new cool shape just for fun. I promise it's not me being lazy. I think this is going to work really well. If I do a nice little mirror and weld to make a cool knee shape. I'm going to flip this over. Why are you not doing the thing? I know you know what I want to do, ZBrush, and you're like, no. Oh god, that's the opposite of what I wanted. Yeah, isn't that cool? So this looks ugly, and I chopped it up, so it looked worse. But I knew, I'm like, if I mirror and model it across X and Y, yeah, it looks like a cool knee-shaped thing. It's kind of awesome. Yeah, I kind of love that. Okay, I lose points a little bit for not creating this stuff down here from scratch. But it's like the same shapes as the arms. So there we go. Eloa says, best work yet, in my opinion. Oh, can't express enough how awesome this looks. Huge step up. Thank you. Thank you. It took fucking forever, and I love it. Yeah, it's been a lot of problem solving too. That's why I had to keep specifying, because I knew the last few days I'm going to ask a lot of rhetorical questions, and I'm like, nobody answer, because I'm going to find it. And you guys did great on that. Nobody was actually me at all. I just know it's confusing when I literally ask a bunch of questions and then you guys are like, oh, like, do you need help? And I'm like, yes, but from myself. Man, that was quick. Neato. I love that Forge, like, Matt came in just to laugh at stupid Ray and Satyr. No. Yeah, no, this is definitely the kind of model where I am like, yeah, this is why I have a mentorship program, you know? Satyr. Oh my. Fates. The drama. Alright, we're making shoes. But not really. But yes. I'm going to ZBrush by half because this is just higher res than it needs to be. And then polish by features because the shape sucks. Alright, I'm going to use my crease brush. Not delete. Thank you. Crease edge loop. Here we go. Ooh. That was nice. I do want to crease this edge right here. Oh, ugly topology. I trusted you. And there's a triangle there. ZBrush and same. I want this to be even. Oh, that's even worse. Let's go back. I'll ZBrush by same. Okay, that's better. Very good. There we go. Now I want to crease these two edges on the side so it kind of creates more structure to the shoe, kind of like a sole of the shoe. I say kind of because this metal sock thing is weird. That was good. I agree with that, Eloa. Eloa says, I think I can confidently speak for the students and creators in the chat that the slower streams where you problem solve is so much more relatable and applicable than when you lock in the speedrun model. Both are great for content. Just don't think that this has been less content or not as good. Aw, I really appreciate that. I do. I will say, I think I got a little, like, speed focused because it always kind of, like, shocks me when people comment, like, and it doesn't happen often, it's people. I have one person out of the hundreds that tunes in every week being like, huh, this takes a long time, doesn't it? And I'm like, bitch, I am so fast. And you guys all jump in and mention that too. And then I'm like, huh, maybe I could be faster. And now I'm like, no, you're right, this is great. So it makes the slow streams feel even slower to me if I have that comment in the back of my head, which is a garbage comment to hold on to, and I know that. So no worry. What I'm trying to say is, yes, I extra appreciate your feedback, and I will remember it. If I remember what that's from those Telltale games being like, me will remember that. Please stop deleting my topology. This is gonna make me manually finagle this, isn't it? There's not many polys, so it's not gonna be that much work. But I'm like, can you just look good by me doing a couple creases and then just like, oh man. There we go. These are pretty nice. I'm liking these shoes. Gonna do those two creases on the edge to create that kind of like fake sole almost. And then when I polish my features, oh bam. It really tightens up and does a lot of work for me. All right, the shoes have seen a little bit of glow up too. I like it. Might as well poly paint them because they're looking about done. Just lingual. Mia, shouldn't each sculpt take like 15 to 30 minutes to sculpt? Plus 5 minutes post processing? Y'all joke, but that is so in my head. Sometimes, I swear to God. Like where I think I can do that. I am unhinged. I really think that my potential is unlimited. We don't need to talk about my God complex on stream. Okay. Empress says Eloa. Yeah, well spoken. I know I'm a student and it comes to the early stage, but I spend most of the time trying to problem solve without bugging Mia. So this is relatable. Why? You have more questions that you're not asking me? I am horrified. No. Please. You pay me. You are giving me money to bug me. I love that. I want to be bugged. I don't have to have a mentorship program. I make monies in all kinds of places. Lots of monies. I don't have to be mentorship. I do it because I like it. I really, 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 really like it. Ask me questions. Bug me. Crazy talk. If it helps, something that you can do, Empress, because I know sometimes I'm working and it feels weird to interrupt. Happy hour helps. What you can do is you can actually take notes of the questions that you want to ask, and then you can dump them in the chat all at once. Bonus points if you number them. If you do like number 1, how to do this. Number 2, what is this? What happened here? Like I can really rapid fire, and then you won't feel like you're bugging me or taking up too much time, and I can really deliver some awesome content for everybody. How's that? Holy crap, look at the difference here and like, what happened? Anyway. Oh, Eloa was talking about that. By the way, peasants, Mia was going to end the stream, did a creative battery check, decided to spend more time on this. 25 minutes later, the entire gauntlets and arm was done. Creative battery check, more. Exactly. Because I knew, I was like, oh wait, I do have energy to do that. And she's like, done. Holy crap. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and just being my little cheerleaders. I think you guys are the best. Seriously. Man. This is awesome. This is so awesome. Oh, I'm so proud of this. Hell yeah. Empress says, I'm trying to get better at doing that. I swear, trauma response and all that from growing up. And this artwork looks amazing. Yeah, no, I get you. You're preaching to the choir, 100%. My favorite, like, weird thing I got from growing up, and also is already in my personality, is I take responsibility for like literally everything. Let's say I'm like walking downtown and somebody's crossing a crosswalk and like almost gets hit by a car. If I was anywhere near that, I've been like, oh my god, I should have helped them across the street. I'm like the opposite of avoiding responsibility. I like chronically take responsibility. So I get you. We all have dumb habits that come from sweet intentions and maybe sad stories. It's part of it. I get you. I get you. But also, take up space. You're great. I love answering your questions. Yeah. Time to make 6 variations, right? Eloa says, I'm so glad I got paid more for this model, right? Yeah, my priority ticket is $45. So it's $45 plus that's just extra money on top. Also, they're $50 on top of their monthly subscription. So yeah, no, this felt great. Aw, Sater, that's really sweet. Sater says, you think we're the best because we are the best, but you also make it easy for us to be the best. I like that. It's like you guys are all in like the garden of Mia. It's a good garden. Good amount of shade, good soil. Flourish. Hey, Ray says, Mia, oh, the dynamic subdiv thing works so nicely. Yay! And that's the same trick, dynamic subdiv, that they use for that ZModeler brush, ZModeler tutorial I sent you with the sci-fi plates. Yay, I love to see it. Makes me very, very happy. Yeah, this model, again, I know all of you guys think this model looks great, but like, especially like Eloa, this is so up their alley. Again, really, really happy that you had time to watch all of this. We're gonna just hide that little piece here. Also, that mirror and weld thing happened so nice. Look how good that worked for the back of these even. Man. Hell yeah. Well, that's freaking gorgeous. Unicron is going to be so excited. All right, let's screenshot. Smile. Amazing. Very proud. Big proud. Satyr. It's true. You guys heard it. All the peasants are in Mia's garden frolicking around. Yeah, like plants. Don't make it weird. Satyr, you're acting like a weed right now. This is gorgeous, and I'm really proud of it. Well, good. I want to get more work on this done. And I've never made armor that looks this clean. You know what I mean? Empress, who wants to retopo the armor? You know, it actually wouldn't be that horrific because I have all of the gorgeous low subdiv versions of each piece. Wow, did it really save a material file for some of these? Ew. Stop. Can't see the topology on this, but having the low ones are nice. Oh my god. You guys are so lame. Anyway, this armor looks good. And I stand by my metaphor. Don't have to be weird about it. Weed kill, all of you. Okay. I am done with the stream now. I am now tired. That was great. I'm so glad it's done. That's true. There aren't any like crazy forms on there. Hey, we're wooing. I like it. Awesome. I now don't want to do the centaur. But that's okay, because I don't have to do it today. I so agree. It doesn't even look like an M3DM model in like the best way possible. I agree. Toda's back. I'm back. What did I miss? The stream is ending like any minute now, but we missed, I like speed ran the rest of this somehow and finished it. Pretty much. I didn't add gold trim to the little feeties yet, but we're pretty close. You can finally see my weird white, like really white blonde stripe on camera. I don't know why it doesn't show up well on camera, but like entire like bottom section of my head is like white blonde. Yeah. Anyway. Toda, what? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I took the van braces and gauntlet pieces and just stuck them onto her legs and it worked. Why does it have to be so weird? Or being welcome to? Yeah, you guys, I'm like, you've been planted. Flourish. I don't know. It was really weird. It wasn't. Tarda says, respectfully, of course. Honestly, they could be thicker. But yes, they're quite nice. Again, warrior. Must be thick. Respectfully, of course. I just love that. I got a crown? What did I do? I don't know why you're number one now, honestly. Eloa says, Mia, couldn't this Knights be a model in itself? Yes, it is going to be. So technically this person only like paid for one model, but then it was really good requests, and I am going to just make two, straight up. Me and Cats here. Hey, welcome in. The Hidden Valley silver strand of hair. Yeah. Yeah. And it makes sense because I have a birthmark on my head somewhere around here, and that's always grown like white hair, and then it spread to the rest of the back of my head. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why you're number one, Toda. The community thing is totally broken. Supposedly, based on how much you talk and interact and at certain intervals, and then also if you donate like real money, that should all count. I've definitely had people donate like $100 in a day, and they weren't first still. So I was like, what? Odd. But yeah, no, you are indeed number one, Toda. We all knew it was true. Okay, I'm tired. This is great. Stream's ending. Like the stream on the way out. It makes a big difference. And I'll see you all tomorrow, okay? All right. Take care. Bye.